bill that would make it harder for cities to clear homeless encampments gets its first hearing today in Olympia. House Bill 2489 would block cities from enforcing anti-camping laws unless they can prove shelter was available. And that shelter would have to meet strict standards, including allowing pets, partners, and personal belongings. Programs that require sobriety or treatment could be ruled inadequate. The bill has widespread support from Democrats. Republicans, though, are opposed. It's a direct response to a 2024 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that gave cities more power to clear encampments. More orders for Boeing. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
January has been a big month for Boeing, with several significant orders announced. Ethiopian Airlines is the latest, committing to 9 new 787 Dreamliners. The airline already operates the largest Boeing fleet in Africa and is waiting for more deliveries. Earlier this month, Alaska Airlines announced they'd buy more than 100 planes and up to 90 for Delta. A leasing company, the Aviation Capital Group, announced a 50-plane acquisition. All good news for one of Washington's largest employers, which is recovering from high-profile safety issues, increased regulatory oversight, and strikes while trying to amp up production and deliveries. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
The State Patrol has stopped 2 wrong-way freeway drivers in 2 days in King County. Last night about 11:30, multiple people called 911 after spotting someone driving eastbound in the westbound lanes near Issaquah. They were finally stopped in Snoqualmie near Highway 18. The driver booked for DUI. And Sunday, just after 5 a.m., troopers stopped someone driving north in the southbound lanes of I-5 and SeaTac. That was also a DUI arrest. One person is dead after a stolen car slammed into a power pole at more than 100 miles an hour over the weekend in Tacoma.
A state trooper tried to stop a stolen car early Sunday morning at southbound SR 509 and Port of Tacoma Road. They say the driver took off and lost control, crashing near 21st and Pacific. They say the car was going about 110 miles an hour when it hit the pole. Including the driver, there were 3 people in the car. The front seat passenger died. Another person in the back seat was badly hurt, as was the driver, who faces several charges, including vehicular homicide. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
2 people were hurt in a house fire yesterday morning in Tacoma. Fire crews say the fire started on the second floor of a home on South Proctor just before 10:30. One person treated at the scene, another taken to the hospital in serious condition. A third did make it out safely, but the family's cat didn't make it. No word on the cause. And in case you missed it, the Seahawks are going to finish their playoff run without running back Zach Charbonnet. He suffered a significant knee injury in Saturday's win over the Niners. Head coach Mike McDonald tells 710 Seattle Sports Charbonnet is the epitome of what it means to be a Seahawk.
Plays his tail off, detail-oriented, unselfish, and it just hurts, man. It hurts that it's going on, but he's going to be back. He's going to be back stronger than ever. The guys are going to pick him up.
That is a bummer. He's going to need surgery and is now done for the season. It's 5:13. Let's get a check on traffic now. This early Tuesday morning. Sully is in early. What's happening? It's foggy.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
By the way, Charbonnet is such a fun word to say.
Isn't it?
Because you can go really fancy with it. Kind of, you go Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
Yeah, it's Charbs is also, but
Yeah.
lots of possibilities. That's a shame. Looking at the drive now, yeah, fog. But fortunately, we don't have any 20-car pileups like we did yesterday morning at this time. Map looks great. So far, so good. We're looking at 35 minutes to make the drive from Olympia to Tacoma. Actually, probably closer to 30. And then Federal Way to Seattle's only 35 minutes. Valley Freeway, same deal. Back and forth between Puyallup and Renton, only 35 minutes there. 405 hasn't woken up yet. 15 minutes or less there. The lake bridges are quiet. Coming down out of the north end, 35 minutes or so to go from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Haven't started to see the backup yet in Northgate. That usually shows up in about a half an hour. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Thank you. And our forecast again, the story is the fog this morning. It is very thick in spots. Please be careful. It's also very cold. Right now it's only 30 degrees. So once that fog lifts, we'll see sunshine again, warming up to about 49 for today. Only 47 tomorrow. Only 44 on Thursday. But again, our dry streak continues. No rain in the forecast now. It looks like until Monday, there's a slight chance of some sprinkles Sunday, but nothing major. Right now, as I mentioned, it's only 30 degrees and foggy in Seattle. Coming up, G. Scott reacts to Saturday's big divisional round victory for the Seahawks here on Seattle's Morning News.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
All right, here's a quick confession. The reason Nick, my wife, is going to Longevity Medical Clinic is because why?
I got sick of watching you sleep at night when I was awake.
Wait a minute. Wait. Here's what would happen. I'd be asleep because I've got my hormones balanced thanks to Longevity Medical Clinic. I'm asleep, and then Nick would go, "Are you asleep? Are you sleeping? That's not fair. I can't sleep." I'm like, "So you're going to wake me up?"
Yes, because I didn't want you to have more energy than I would the next day, and I was up all night.
So what did I say to you? I said, so go to the Longevity Medical Clinic. Do the same thing I did. Get your hormones balanced. You'll sleep better, right?
And I did.
Right. You don't have to wake me up anymore and go, it's not fair that you're sleeping.
I know.
But didn't you see that it wasn't fair that you were waking me up?
Yes, because now you're the one taking the dogs out because I'm still asleep in the morning.
So we're both getting good night's sleep. We're both getting lots of energy, and we're happy.
You want me to tell you why? Because my hormones are now balanced.
Okay, I don't want to hear about your hormones right now. So be like Nick and get a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
At Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Gee, where does that rank in terms of Seahawks victories to you, what you saw on Saturday night?
That was the most complete game that I've seen the Seahawks play in 10-plus years. That was domination. For facts, without my opinion, that lopsided win of 41-6, the Seahawks over the Niners, is the most lopsided playoff win since Super Bowl 48, when the Seahawks delivered the Denver Broncos a 35-point beatdown. This was crazy. From the very beginning, I mean,
were you settled in watching for the very beginning?
Yes.
Yeah,
but before we, because there was a delay because of the game, that gave me time to get from the field and get to a proper spot. But even before we get to the kickoff, before we get to Rashid Shaheed, and probably if you ask Rashid, maybe some of the reasons why he did that, that stadium was rocking.
Crazy.
There was a very small amount of Niner fans in the building. It was packed. People were in their seats early. The noise, the energy was incredible. In Kyle Shanahan's 163 games, head coach for the Niners, let me explain how dominant this defense is. Kyle Shanahan has coached the Niners 163 games. His team has only been held under 7 points 4 times.
Oh, wow.
2 of those 4 times, have been in the month of January 2026, the Seattle Seahawks. What you guys, as you guys know, I love money, and I love books talking about money. Just started up a new one, and we all know what compound interest is, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole big thing on compound interest. And so as I was walking in here just now, I was thinking about compound interest. And there's a lot of us, me included, that are saying, oh my goodness, what are we seeing out of these Seattle Seahawks? You are seeing compound interest. Compound interest, small, consistent deposits that get made and turned into dominance. The Seahawks have made constant investments into each other. When you hear people talk about this team, have you noticed that they always talk about they're so together?
Yeah.
There's such good team chemistry. It seems like they love each other.
I think they do.
Well, that compound interest between now. So when the San Francisco 49ers and all of its fans say, hey, on week 1, we beat you. That's cool. Because when it came to week 18, it was different. When it came to the divisional playoff round, it was different. So the lesson today is this. Just because you were a certain way back then doesn't mean that you are that way now, because you might have made small investments to compound and be dominant like these
You
Seahawks.
have such a great way of explaining things. I love that.
I appreciate it.
Okay, did you have a favorite play? All of it?
No. The favorite play was the kickoff. It was Rashid Shaheed, and like the look on all of our faces when that happened was like,
it was confusion almost.
Did this just happen? I mean, 13 seconds and it was over. And then it got to 17-0, it got to 17-6, and then before you know it, I mean, the San Francisco 49ers have only scored 9 points against the Seahawks in the last 2 games. So we're not going to talk about the next opponent yet. Let's save this, but I got some good stuff for you on that too.
Excellent. When do we get to hear that?
Oh, this week. Yeah, I've been coming here all day. By the way, man, you didn't say nothing about my Seahawks stuff today.
That's very cool. Did you get that over the weekend? That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to deck out in Seahawks stuff for the rest of the week. I thought about it today.
Yes. Charlie, did you watch the game?
Did I watch the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you was Neil Diamond and them.
Well, no. As I was saying, my wife, God bless her, she allowed me to sell the tickets. And so we went to a friend's house and watched the game instead. And thank goodness we could, because I cannot imagine having missed that game, one of the greats of all time.
Yeah. So this Sunday, you good? Are you allowed to watch?
Yeah, she's going to be out of town, so I'll be on my couch.
Now, question.
Yeah.
What would you rather have? Her not be out of town and you watch the game and you spend time with her? Or she be out of town and you get to watch the game?
Oh, her be out of town and I watch the game.
Ingrid, did you hear that?
Answer. Charlie.
Wow. We've been together 27 years. Man.
Get out of the house, Ingrid. I'll look at our forecast. We'll see some fog in spots. 49 degrees for today, but that fog is very thick in areas, so be careful. 31, the overnight low for tomorrow. Again, foggy early on, but then sunshine. Our sunny pattern continues right on through the end of the week. Right now in Seattle, very foggy. It's only 30 degrees. And coming up, we're going to chat live with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold. He joins us every Tuesday, and we're going to break down some of the big national stories of the week. Coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
Be there when the Seahawks make history. Hello! KIRO Newsradio's giving away 2 tickets to the NFC Championship game.
Oh, my word!
Sunday against LA at Lumen Field.
I can't tell you how pumped I am to see what the 12s bring.
Download the KIRO Newsradio app and click the Win tab to enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your odds.
This should be fun.
Enter daily now through Wednesday, January 21st. Contest rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision surgeons have performed nearly 100,000 procedures. We know when RLE is right for you.
Find out. Schedule a free Zoom consultation at k2visionrle.com.
K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than the tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in one day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300.
That's 800-771-1300.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
Worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
That's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member, you get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Millions of Americans use credit cards to purchase goods every day. The Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates put the secure transactions you rely on at risk, leaving you vulnerable to hackers and foreign cybercriminals that want your data. Hackers win. You lose. Guard your card before it's too late. Tell Congress your data security is not for sale and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It is 5:31. State lawmakers will debate a bill this afternoon that could change how cities deal with homeless encampments. House Bill 2489 would prevent local governments from enforcing camping bans unless they can prove adequate shelter was available. The catch is that shelter must meet a long list of requirements. It has to be free, allow pets, partners, and belongings, and cannot require sobriety or participation in treatment. Democrats widely support the bill. Republicans oppose it. The so-called Driver Privacy Act gets its first hearing in Olympia today.
Senate Bill 6002 would put regulations on automated license plate readers, commonly known as flock cameras. Most of the time, the data is retained for 30 days, but this bill would shorten the window to 72 hours. The ACLU of Washington supports that, saying the strongest way to protect data from falling into the wrong hands is to make sure it's deleted regularly and as soon as possible. But the Association of Washington Cities says that shorter time window may hamper some criminal investigations. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he has no regrets. Speaking to KIRO News Radio's John Curley, Swank responded to a state law enforcement group's move to potentially kick him out.
Everything I say, I stand by, or I wouldn't say it. I'm not saying it to be cocky. I'm just saying I think about these things before I say it. I've been preparing my whole life for this position, and I stand by what I said.
Swank testified last week against a Senate bill that sets stricter rules for people to serve as sheriffs. He believes it's designed to root out conservative sheriffs. He also criticized a measure to ban law enforcement from wearing masks. The Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs called Swank's remarks inflammatory. It's 5:33. That's time for traffic. We do that every 10 minutes for you in the mornings. And Chris Sullivan is here.
And we're doing all right. It is super foggy out there in spots. I mean, really foggy, kind of like we saw yesterday, depending on where you are. So visibility can be an issue. Looking at the drive with pretty easy conditions at this point. We're up to about 40 minutes now to make that drive from Puyallup to Renton with brake lights from about 180th on up. And then Renton to Bellevue is running right around 15 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle is under 40, so not too bad there. Lake bridges are great. Coming down from the north end, a little bit of slowing westbound on the trestle, but that's just a little bit of volume. And once you get over to I-5, it's pretty easy. We've got a 35-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Olympia to Tacoma, no problems for you guys as well. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
For today and tomorrow, much like yesterday, we'll see thick fog in the morning, but sunshine for the afternoons, highs in the upper 40s. Right now it's foggy and 30 in Seattle.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Good Good morning. It is 5:34. I'm Manda Factor, along with Charlie Harger.
And every Tuesday, we call up New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold to analyze all the big national stories of the week. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
All right. Greenland, go. What's new this morning?
Well, this is the week of Davos, this gathering in Switzerland every winter where business executives and national leaders come together. And Trump is sort of turning it into kind of like bringing this Greenland crisis to a head. So he has said he's going to go there. A bunch of Trump people are going to go there next week. A bunch of the European leaders are going to be there. He said, he wants Greenland one way or the other. So I think they're throwing out the things they usually talk about and just focusing on some kind of off-ramp for this. I think European countries have sent soldiers to Greenland, and it's an extraordinary thing, basically to fight us if we try to take it by force. And so I think they're trying to find something that will satisfy Trump short of just letting him take one of their biggest properties. I don't think that he's going to be satisfied with that, but who knows? And it's sort of hard to read Trump, but I don't think this is one of those situations where he acts crazy because he's just looking for more leverage and a more normal deal. It seems like he really, really wants this thing and won't settle for anything less.
What are you hearing from analysts who are basically saying NATO is over now?
I think that's an overstatement. NATO would certainly suffer a huge blow if we somehow took Greenland from the Danes, who are an important NATO partner. Would that mean that we would just forget about NATO and the Europeans would abandon us? I don't think so. I mean, Europe for decades has based its entire government on the idea that we would protect them. That's why they spend so little on defense. And for them to say, like, hey, you took Greenland, forget about it. We're walking away and making our own thing. I think that would be really foolish of them, given the threat they face from Russia and other places. So it certainly would hurt NATO, but I don't think that Europe is in a position now where they can walk away, even after something as blatant as us stealing Greenland.
Since you mentioned a big meeting in Davos this week, what do we expect out of that?
Well, it's sort of hard to know. I mean, I think what the Europeans are hoping to do is to try to find some way to placate Trump, to give him something that'll distract him or please him and make him think that he's achieved something. They're talking about more security cooperation, more security guarantees dealing with the high Arctic where Greenland is, to satisfy what he says are his reasons for wanting Greenland, which is to protect it from the Russians and the Chinese. I don't know if that's going to work. He seems really, really fixated on the idea that he's going to just have it, but it has to be American. There's only one way to do this, and that's to have it be American-owned. He's talking about sort of the psychological value of having it be ours. So I don't know if that's going to work, but that's certainly what the hope is, to try to find some off-ramp.
But the threat is of these tariffs that will gradually increase to 25% by the summer. How are our European allies reacting to this?
It's funny. Trump does – there's this cycle of Trump with so many different people where at first they think they can placate him. They sort of think they can mollify him, and then they realize that he's serious, and then eventually pushes far enough that even the most subservient people realize they've got to stand up for themselves. And I think Europe is on the way there with trade. Like, after so many different iterations of this last year where they tried to please him and buy him off, now I think they've realized, look, if we don't stand up against Trump, he's going to keep squeezing us like this. So the Europeans are talking about coming together as a bloc and doing something on trade that would hurt America, basically to fight back, to stop trying to play nice and start pushing back. It'll be interesting to see if that actually happens. I don't think that the actual monetary impact of these tariffs that Trump is talking about are going to matter that much to Europe's economy. But I think the sort of ultimate and most important consequence of this could be that they decide finally, okay, enough is enough. We have to start showing, playing the cards we have and showing the strength we have.
David, let's talk about the clashes between protesters and ICE agents. This is clearly not cooling off, especially in Minneapolis. Where do you see this going? Is the president still threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act?
He hasn't said it in a couple of days. And in fact, late last week, he said that he was sort of thinking that he wouldn't need to. This is a really interesting moment, sort of similar to what we were just talking about with Europe, where people in Minneapolis have not been cowed by this thousands of ICE agents. They're forming groups to alert people to the presence of ICE in their neighborhood. They're jeering the ICE agents, throwing snowballs at them, sort of not fighting back exactly, because I don't think any ICE agents are getting hurt, but really showing, not bowing down to this overwhelming show of force. I think this is a really interesting moment in Trump's presidency because he's realizing that sort of brute force won't get him where he wants to go. And I think the Insurrection Act, what would that mean? It would mean bringing like airborne military troops to Minneapolis. And what are those troops equipped to do? Like, not crowd control, not defuse the situation. What do? They kill people. That's what they're trained to do. They're soldiers. So bringing them to that situation, I think, would be a mess. And I think even Trump realizes that that would look bad. I think we're getting into this, sort of the one way that Trump responds to pressure from the outside is that things look bad on TV. And this is starting to look bad. It's starting to look like his people are getting humiliated instead of intimidating everybody. So I'm interested to see where this goes, but it seems pretty obvious that the idea that thousands of ICE agents would show up and people in Minneapolis would just roll over, it's not happening.
Okay, and lastly, in just the remaining 30 seconds or so, can you believe it's been a year since President Trump took office?
It feels like 5 years. No, it's the fact that it's just been 1 year, in terms of those of us in the news business, I'm sure you guys know this, there's been so many news cycles, so many things that have happened, so much that's changed in the world. So, yeah, to me, the fact that it's just been 1 year is kind of wild.
All right. New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold joining us this morning. David, we're live on the air, so thank you for not cursing today. It's a remarkable change for you.
I always do. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
David, thanks. It's now 5:40. National headlines coming up here on Seattle's Morning News.
The G and Ursula Show.
There's a brand new Gallup poll out that shows independents are actually now the biggest group in the country.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Does this surprise you?
No, it's like a card trick. People in card tricks, the reason why you get fooled is because you pay attention to what they say and you don't pay attention to what they do. Most people only start paying attention when elections, policies, and things start affecting you.
Subscribe to the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel and watch live.
Take the next step to becoming a Seahawks season ticket holder. Join the season ticket holder notification list to secure your spot in line. By signing up, you'll be the first to know when space becomes available on the official Blue Pride waitlist. Plus, receive team news, special ticket offers, and more. Visit Seahawks.com/season tickets to sign up today.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
It's a new year, which means a new opportunity to grow your business. WaFd Bank Business Checking can help you hit the ground running. Our accounts are designed to help business owners like you manage cash flow, pay vendors, and keep operations running smoothly every day. Get access to digital tools like bill pay, mobile deposit, signer and non-signer debit cards, and the option to upgrade your account as your business grows. WaFd business bankers get to know you, so when you need help, we're there for you. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
CBS News Brief. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is questioning President Trump's trustworthiness over Greenland and his new tariff threats as leaders gather in Davos for the World Economic Forum.
It is time to seize this opportunity and build a new independent Europe.
Another day of dangerous winter weather ahead. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano is in Hamburg, New York, where it's 10 degrees right now, but feels like -9.
Over 200 million people are feeling the bite of unrelenting Arctic blasts. Wind chills hit -40 in the northern tier and dipped into the 20s in Florida.
The Supreme Court hears arguments on Hawaii's concealed carry gun law today. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
Hawaii is arguing that when ratified, the Second Amendment did not include a right of armed entry onto private property without the owner's consent.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
And a quick check on our forecast at 5:44. Thick fog in spots for this morning and tomorrow morning as well, but sunshine in the afternoon. Highs only in the upper 40s. How about 44 on Thursday? No rain in the forecast until it looks like Monday. Right now in Seattle, very foggy and 30 degrees. And coming up, Crime and Punishment, our weekly check-in at the King County Prosecutor's Office. That's next here on Seattle's Morning News.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's Morning News.
We bring in Casey McNerthney from the King County Prosecutor's Office for Crime and Punishment. And Casey, you have brought guests with you today.
I have. We have Brayla McGinnis and Alex Voorhees, who are the senior deputy prosecutors for the King County Prosecutor's Office, who handle the human trafficking cases on Aurora and throughout the county.
Let's dive right in. It's nice to have both of you. Brayla, what is the situation currently on Aurora?
Oh, thank you for having us. The situation currently on Aurora is, for lack of a better term, truly a crisis, where we are seeing disproportionately impacted communities, specifically our BIPOC and LGBTQ plus communities, being severely harmed by buyers and pimps and traffickers throughout our county at the hands of sexual exploitation.
Alex, we use the term human trafficking all the time. Can you just make it super simple?
Sure. Under state law, human trafficking is a crime of commercial sexual exploitation, where if you're talking about an adult victim, it requires that we establish that force, fraud, or coercion was used to compel that individual to engage in commercial sex work. It also applies to labor trafficking. Brayla and I specialize specifically in the sex trafficking side of that statute. If we're talking about crimes involving juveniles, you do not need to prove the force, fraud, or coercion, simply that the person being trafficked was a juvenile.
Brayla, you said it has reached crisis level.
Yes.
How does it compare to, say, 10 years ago? What qualifies as crisis level?
What I would say qualifies as a crisis level is that, things have not necessarily gotten better. And we have spoken with many survivors and law enforcement officers, and the cases that come across our desk remain very violent, remain very prolific and harmful with regards to psychological and physical and sexual violence. And over the summers, we see, unfortunately, a spike, specifically with regards to juvenile victims. School is out, everyone is outside. And so, unfortunately, Ms. Voorhees and I have quite a few children who are at risk of being exploited or missing throughout the summer months. And if you talk with survivors or other service providers, some have even counted 40 to 60 bodies on Aurora Avenue walking the track or the blade. And law enforcement is telling us that they are picking up 2 to 3 children off the track each week.
Alex, who are the traffickers?
The traffickers are individuals who are seeking to make a profit off the backs of individuals that are vulnerable and ripe for exploitation. We find that our traffickers target individuals who have substance use or mental health disorders for exploitation. We also find, with respect to our juveniles, instability in homes, kids in the foster care system, runaways are all easy targets for traffickers. And our traffickers are really good at what they do. They are masters of the art of manipulation. One of the terms that we use that Brayla was talking about is selling the dream. And these guys are masters at selling the dream. They will find someone who's vulnerable, maybe a kid who's not getting along with their parents, doesn't feel love and support at home, doesn't, has self-esteem issues, doesn't feel good about themselves or their body, make them promises that, come be with me and we're going to take on the world together and you're going to have Gucci shoes and I'm going to drive a Maserati and we're going to have all of these fancy things and live this amazing life. And people are susceptible to that, the glamour that is promised. But the reality behind that is really brutal exploitation of juveniles and adults throughout our community. Not only are they subjected to violence at the hands of their traffickers, for instance, many traffickers insist that the women or girls working for them make a quota every day. They're not allowed to stop walking the track or posting ads and going to dates with strange men until they make a certain amount of money for the day. If you don't make your quota, drugs are withheld, you're beaten, you're threatened, you're raped, you're called horrible names. And it's a really vicious cycle because the first rule of the game, don't talk. Ugh. Don't cooperate with law enforcement. You don't have a pimp. I'm your boyfriend. You're doing this voluntarily. There's any number of things that it's almost like brainwashing or programming that happens. And it makes it really difficult for people to escape the life, to get out of the world of prostitution. If we're talking about an average age of entry for individuals into commercial sex work, studies are telling us that it's between the ages of 13 and 15.
It just makes my stomach turn.
So if you're 13 years old, you're not living in your home with your parents. You're living out of hotels, motels, or an apartment with your trafficker, not going to school, not doing the things that you need to be able to move forward in life as a thriving adult. Yeah. You are subjected to psychological and physical and sexual abuse. We find that survivors suffer PTSD at rates similar to military veterans, combat military veterans. Higher levels of traumatic brain injury. There's a study out of Colorado that says that the mortality rate for individuals in commercial sex work is 200% higher than it is for the average population. And so even if these kids or young women want to get out of the life, they don't have the life skills to do that. They don't have a driver's license. They don't have a high school diploma or a GED. And they're caught in this world of dependence on their pimp or trafficker. And it's a really vicious cycle.
So what is being done in Olympia by lawmakers to tackle this issue?
So we currently are pushing a bill that is set for a hearing in the Public Safety Committee next Tuesday at 4 p.m. in Olympia, House Bill 1265. And as I mentioned, buyers cause a lot of harm, and they are a huge part of this cycle of violence that Ms. Voorhees has described. And that bill would seek to first and foremost protect survivors, as the current legislative format for buyers is significantly low. It is only a simple misdemeanor to buy another human being in the state of Washington. It is more of a crime, as Ms. Voorhees will elaborate. I will let her go ahead.
It's a higher penalty to steal a candy bar from the AM/PM than it is to purchase sex from someone who is being exploited or someone who is engaging in sex work because they have no other choice. We are asking this bill that's being put forward will increase the penalties for purchasing sex to a Class C felony. A felony level offense, we believe, will discourage men from wanting or being willing to take that risk to be arrested on a felony as opposed to a simple misdemeanor. To also increase the statutory fines and fees associated with the crime of purchasing sex. Right now, if you're convicted of the misdemeanor, I believe it's a $1,500 fine. We're going to double that for your first offense. It's a $3,000 fine. It's a $5,000 fine for the second and a $10,000 fine if you're caught a third time. And we are asking the legislature in this bill to put all of the money from those fees that are collected by the courts directly into survivor services in the municipalities and counties where those crimes are taking place, working with our community partners, our survivor-run organizations and survivor-led organizations to provide additional services and funding. We know that money's tight in Olympia right now, and this is one more way to support our survivors and help them move out of the life.
Keep us posted on what happens in Olympia, and please come back anytime. Appreciate the work you guys do. Thank you so much. Prosecutors Brayla McGinnis and Alex Voorhees with Casey McNerthy for Crime and Punishment here on KIRO News Radio.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Styles change, 12s grow, but Seahawks love? That's forever. From the young fans in their fresh new jerseys to the lifelong 12s in their throwback jackets. At the Pro Shop, we've got gear for 12s of every age and every walk of life. This is the Pro Shop. Shop official Seahawks gear in-store at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton, or online at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. European leaders are gathered at the World Economic Summit in Switzerland, and they're venting over President Trump's new threat to hit them with tariffs if they don't go along with his plans for Greenland. Correspondent Holly Williams.
The truth is that America's NATO allies in Europe are angry and shocked.
We see this as unnecessary and irresponsible.
It is not easy when we wake up every morning to new threats.
In a telephone interview with NBC News Monday, President Trump said he would 100% follow through on threats to slap extra tariffs on 8 European nations next month, unless a deal is reached to sell the Arctic island to the U.S.
Mr. Trump due to arrive in Davos tomorrow. His threats are roiling the markets today.
Wall Street is worried about widening trade tensions between the U.S. and Europe.
Markets hate surprises. Markets hate uncertainty. Markets hate instability.
Michael Farr, the chairman of Farcrest Capital, suggests investors wait these tensions out before making any big changes to their portfolios.
When these international events come up over the years, markets tend to react in the short term, but it does not tend to change prices over the long term.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Dow futures are down 714. Brutal winter weather is here to stay for a while. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
More is coming from our friends in Canada, driving down across the northern plains Thursday, Friday. This one settles in well below normal temperatures into the mid-south, and we've got a little system that's going to break through the ridge in the west, and that will tap some moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. Those two combinations is not a good thing here. We're looking for an icy mix from Dallas to Memphis.
Temps expected to drop to below freezing in parts of Georgia and Florida. The U.S. is set to host some of the world's biggest sporting events over the next few years, but a new Homeland Security proposal could determine who fills the seats.
The Washington Post says the proposed rule would require visitors from 42 visa waiver countries to provide more personal information, including 5 years of social media history before entering the United States. Critics say the policy could discourage millions of legitimate travelers, bringing the attendance down at major global events like the 2026 FIFA World Cup, 2028 Summer Olympics in L.A., and the 2034 Winter Games in Salt Lake City. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
For the first time in decades, a familiar name will not be starting at the NBA All-Star Game.
Oh, LeBron James! Major flush!
And that's LeBron. Didn't get enough votes this time to start, ending his record of 21 All-Star Game streak. Deborah, this is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
6:03 Tuesday morning. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan at the traffic desk.
And like clockwork, we're already seeing the slowing on southbound I-5 approaching Northgate. This is week number 2 without the express lanes for the morning commute in the southbound direction. Already up to 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle, with 25 of those minutes out of Linwood. Already seeing a little bit more braking getting through Canyon Park, too, as people are bailing early to 405. 40 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. Olympia to Tacoma is already up to 40 minutes, but Tacoma itself is quiet. Federal Way to Seattle also about 40 at this point. 40 is what you need from Puyallup to Renton. Brake lights there coming out of the Auburn area. Renton to Bellevue, not too bad. We're under 20 minutes there. The Lake Bridges are quiet. Very foggy out there today again this morning, so just be prepared to have very limited visibility. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App, listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
And we take to the air with a developing story. A Tacoma neighborhood is flooded with lights and sirens this morning.
The call came in about 4:30 this morning. Reports of a stabbing. When police officers arrived to the 4000 block of South 34th Street, they found multiple people injured. They noticed the house was on fire. At least 3 victims are being treated at area hospitals. It is a chaotic scene right now. Investigators are still piecing together what happened. We will keep you posted.
A bill that would prohibit cities and counties across the state from clearing homeless encampments gets its first hearing this afternoon in Olympia. And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the story.
Yeah, Charlie, we're going to be tracking this throughout the morning as well. House Bill 2489 would do a couple of things. It would prevent local governments from enforcing anti-camping laws or removing encampments from parks or anywhere else they pop up unless a city can prove that a shelter space was available. However, if shelter is available, it would have to meet some pretty strict standards. The shelter would have to allow pets, partners, and personal belongings. Also, under this bill, shelters that require things like sobriety, participation in treatment programs, or compliance with other certain rules they may have, well, that could be considered inadequate, and the shelter could be ruled out. Next, the bill would protect a wide range of activities on public property as well, including sleeping and protecting personal belongings from the weather. So what that means is people could put up tarps and larger tents and make larger makeshift shelters for themselves. Supporters like the ACLU say the bill is about ending what they say is treating the homeless like criminals. Other groups like the Washington Policy Center say it strips power away from cities and counties, leaving local communities to deal with unchecked homelessness. Communities, there's a lot of worry in communities that they would see more drug use and more crime to pay for those drugs as well. That's the back and forth we're going to be diving into here in this issue that's been heated here in Seattle, of course, over the last week or so with new policies in Seattle, new executive orders. That bill right now is in committee. There is a hearing scheduled for 4 o'clock today.
All right, Luke, thank you. Also getting a hearing today is the so-called Driver Privacy Act.
Senate Bill 6002 would put regulations on automated license plate readers, commonly known as flock cameras. Most of the time, the data is retained for 30 days, but this bill would shorten the window to 72 hours. The ACLU of Washington supports that, saying the strongest way to protect data from falling into the wrong hands is to make sure it's deleted regularly and as soon as possible. But the Association of Washington Cities says that shorter time window may hamper some criminal investigations. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he has no regrets. Speaking to KIRO News Radio's John Curley, Swank responded to a state law enforcement group's move to potentially expel him.
Everything I say, I stand by, or I wouldn't say it. I'm not saying to be cocky. I'm just saying I think about these things before I say it. I've been preparing my whole life for this position, and I stand by what I said.
Swank testified last week against a Senate bill that set stricter rules for people to serve as sheriffs. He believes it's designed to root out conservative sheriffs. He also criticized a measure to ban law enforcement from wearing masks. The Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs called Swank's remarks inflammatory.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
I wonder if people find it a little disconcerting when they're watching the YouTube feed and they just see Sully dancing.
I think it's delightful.
He always thinks he's like on a roller skating.
I'm on an episode of Chips right now. Seriously.
Well, that is Chris Sullivan over there. He's with us on Seattle's Morning News. Producer David Burbank is in the studio. You heard Nick Krasha, who's picking the music this morning. He is running the board as well. And you are Manda Factor.
I am. And you're Charlie Harger. Did you see the Northern Lights?
I didn't. I peeked out right before bedtime at 6. I went to bed at 6:45 last night.
How could you? The national championship game didn't end until 8:30.
I fell asleep on the couch watching that game.
I looked out. It wasn't there. Then I thought, okay, well, I'll get up because I get up at 2:30.
Yeah.
I'll look out, and it
Nothing.
is such thick
fog, yeah.
Like, my goodness, in my neighborhood, I could not really see as I'm driving down the hill.
That's scary.
It's terrifying, so be careful this
Take
morning.
it easy. This hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
Coming up this hour, Amanda, you and I got an opportunity to see firsthand what the reality is for people living in Dr. Jose Rizal Park in Seattle. We went on a tour of the encampments there, saw a lot of stuff. We're going to discuss what we saw at 6:15.
I was deeply affected. Also, Soli, you have a choke point coming up.
Yep, we're going to take a look at the ferry system and kind of do a really deeper. I don't know a lot about ships, but apparently our ferries are in service a lot longer than the industry standard.
Oh.
Like by a lot. So we're going to take a look at the ferry system and kind of dive into some facts that you might not know.
Okay, that's coming up. It's 6:09. A person is dead after a stolen car slammed into a power pole at more than 100 miles an hour over the weekend in Tacoma.
A state trooper tried to stop a stolen car early Sunday morning at southbound SR 509 and Port of Tacoma Road. They say the driver took off and lost control, crashing near 21st and Pacific. They say the car was going about 110 miles an hour when it hit the pole. Including the driver, there were 3 people in the car. The front seat passenger died. Another person in the back seat was badly hurt, as was the driver, who faces several charges, including vehicular homicide. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A fire chief in Southwest Washington is facing serious charges. Prosecutors say Jeffrey Archer is accused of abusing 4 young boys. Police believe it happened at his home in Ocean Park between 2013 and 2019. According to the Seattle Times, deputies arrested Archer January 9th and booked him into the Pacific County Jail. He's now on leave, and Ilwaco has named an interim chief.
The man connected to the disappearance of a 21-year-old Bremerton woman is now in custody. Kevin McCarty in the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office says 21-year-old Leroy Nichols is a convicted rapist and registered sex offender.
We know that they were communicating online, possibly texting back and forth.
Investigators say he is suspected of luring Hannah Davis from her home Saturday night. Sheriff's Office says she has the mental capacity of a 10-year-old and is now safe.
Well, Seattle could soon change the look of Gasworks Park. City leaders are considering removing ladders, stairs, and platforms from the old towers. Seattle Park says it's about safety after repeated injuries, even deaths. The towers were never meant for climbing and aren't structurally sound. Como TV reports the Landmarks Preservation Board will review that proposal tomorrow afternoon. Critics argue removing the features would change the park's character. A decision could come this week.
Hundreds packed Garfield High School yesterday to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The gym was standing room only for the 97th birthday celebration. By noon, families filled the bleachers, crowded the entrance. Community members gathered for speeches, music, and calls for justice and peace. According to the Seattle Times, nearly 500 people marched 2 miles to downtown Seattle. They carried signs and chanted for immigrant rights, workers' rights, and democracy.
And Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald says Zach Charbonnet faces a long road back after a knee injury ended his season. Macdonald broke the news on Brock and Salk on 710 Seattle Sports.
Breaks your heart. He's going to need surgery, so he's going to be out for. He's got a good long road to come back.
ACL tear, I believe.
Yeah.
Not good. He says the rookie is tough as nails, though, and a model teammate, adding, it just hurts that it's going on.
It's 6:12. Time to get a check on the weather. Meteorologist Nick Allard from KIRO 7 TV joins us. And Nick, I was just saying, it was so incredibly thick, the fog at my place in South Auburn. You got to be careful out there right now.
You do. It's thick. And I was just showing on TV a minute ago that if you drive basically from, say, Chehalis to about Everett or Mount Vernon, nearly the entire way visibility is at this point at about a quarter of a mile to a half a mile. So it is dense, and it's going to be like that for the next few hours. I do think by lunchtime we're going to see that fog lift, and it will end up being more like a low cloud deck, if that makes sense. So the fog will lift up. Visibility will improve, but we still have the clouds to get through. And then late afternoon, after about 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we'll see sunshine increasing. But it is absolutely foggy out there. And like yesterday, it is a little warmer overall, except except Seattle. Seattle's a little cooler, but, Olympia, Tacoma, Everett, all warmer than yesterday. We still have spots, though, in the 20s and 30s where you could find some potential, at least, for a little bit of freezing fog. So just know that bridges, overpasses, sidewalks might be a little slick. I saw plenty of places yesterday that would salt their sidewalks just to be safe, and that's not a bad idea this morning. We'll get to about the upper 40s this afternoon, and again, you will see some sun. It just takes a while for today. Tomorrow, it's the same idea, just some fog, then sun. Thursday is going to be cloudier, but it still looks dry as a weak system pushes through. And then back to the same thing Friday and Saturday. I have Sunday dry as well. In fact, I don't see rain coming until Monday at the earliest. So right now, if anything, maybe a sprinkle on Thursday. Looks dry for the Hawks, but cloudy, or at least cloudier. And then Monday, the rain's coming in. But yeah, the big story this morning, you're going to have to scrape your windshield. It's cold. There may be a few slick spots, and it sure is fun.
All right. In Seattle, it's 30 at 6:14.
And it's time for a check on traffic once again. For that, here's Chris Sullivan.
And based on Nick's analysis, I had the audacity to get a car wash yesterday.
Oh,
it's
so
your
awesome.
fault.
I can remember the color of my car again. It's awesome.
With the crackle in your voice, too, that sounded extra like... I had the audacity to get a car
I've also
wash
been
yesterday.
smoking and talking to Sam Elliott a lot. The drive now, we're up to 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle, so behind schedule now certainly with the loss of the express lanes. 30 minutes out of Linwood. A little bit faster on 405, though there are a lot of people heading that direction to avoid the mess that's coming. 40 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. I love it when I can predict that traffic is going to be terrible because I know what's about to happen. Renton to Bellevue, 20 minutes. Behind that, 40 from Puyallup to Renton. A little bit of braking out of Sumner, looking to see if we might have something near 24th. Haven't found it yet. Very foggy, though, on the valley. Northbound I-5 struggling a little bit through Nisqually, 40 minutes to get you up into Tacoma. Federal Way to Seattle, about 42 minutes now. Lake bridges are quiet. This report brought to you by Northwest Hope and Healing. Join Northwest Hope and Healing for Cork Fork and support an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration. Get your tickets for the January 31st event at nwhopeandhealing.org.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974, this is KIRO News Radio.
Well, it's good to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. Yesterday, after the show, Manda and I made the trip down to Dr. Jose Rizal Park along Beacon Hill, taking a look at the situation there. And Manda, this is your first time at that park seeing the general state of things.
I have processed quite a range of emotions since we took a half-hour walk through there.
Yeah.
It is one of the most beautiful pieces of property in the city, right?
Yeah.
I used to go there as a kid. It is beautiful. I have processed a range of emotions since then, and I began with fear because I've never done this. I've worked in the news for 35 years. I've talked about a lot of horrible things. It is one thing to use words and look at pictures. It is something entirely different to face your fear and see up close and personal how these people are living. It is human suffering. I was scared. They were all kind.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to several people, but they live in absolute squalor. There is garbage everywhere. There are water bottles filled with urine. There was human feces everywhere. You had to watch where you step. When I talk about fear, you saw me with the dog. I have a soft spot in my heart for dogs, but a dog unleashed who clearly belongs to one of these people, came charging at us, and I was terrified.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to get emotional about it this morning. I thought I had recovered. But I find my voice is shaky right now. I have tears welling up in my eyes. It is horrific. And then I moved to sadness because at first we were just seeing the garbage as we walked down the trail and wound through Jose Rizal Park, which again is a beautiful hunk of property in the city with a lovely view, which we couldn't really see because of the fog, but I've seen the view before. But then we started to stumble upon people.
Yes.
Who are smoking fentanyl just right there, who are doing the Fenty fold, as they call it, because they're unable to stand up, and just moaning and groaning and having to nudge someone to make sure they're alive. It was horrifying. And you've done this before, and I would not have been able to do it without you and without Andrea from We Heart Seattle.
So Andrea was taking us on a tour because it's getting worse there.
It is.
one of the things that we saw there, too, people suffering from clearly mental health crises.
Yes.
Now, of course, mental health and drug addiction, there's a big Venn diagram and a lot of overlap there. When we went through a side encampment where it was getting pretty intense, what was going through your mind? There's a woman shouting kind of paranoid delusions.
I wanted to flee. I was terrified. Yes, she was clearly not well, screaming, and I had fear. And everyone around was just ignoring her. Mm-hmm. She was getting no help, no attention from these people. I assume they all live in that one area together, probably 10 people or so. They were cooking and just kind of hanging out and chatting. But it was scary.
One of the heartbreaking parts of this tour is we walked across the street from there. 2 different people under blankets.
Yeah.
And Andrea was trying to wake one of the guys up and finally decided he was alive because you could see the blanket moving, so at least he was breathing.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind when you see that?
I am so sad to see such suffering. And then I told you I processed a huge range of emotions. Mm-hmm. And I ended on anger. And I'm not an angry person, right? I love this city. I grew up coming to this city every weekend. I live in the city now. I have for 20 years. I think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. People often ask me, why do you live here? It's so expensive. Why do you do that? Well, I pay my taxes because I want the city to remain the most beautiful place in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so we're not helping these people. We're hurting them by not giving them something. You got to get rid of the drugs. I've never been around that much open drug use. Mm-hmm. I've lived a pretty sheltered life, I guess, but I'm angry. I'm angry that we're allowing them to take over it should be a family spot. There's a dog park there. There used to be you took a tour through there. There was a big, beautiful, like a pergola there with cookout areas and stuff where families should be playing. Instead, it's nudging someone to make sure they're alive.
And there's no expectation of we don't want people to be living out in these conditions.
No.
We want them to be warm. And one of the things that I keep coming back to, and I keep pounding my head because I didn't believe this could be true when I started covering this beat, was there is no expectation or demand of sobriety, of getting into recovery, into detox. The expectation in this city is we can't even proactively ask people to get into detox or rehab. Instead, you have to wait until they come to that conclusion.
So I know you're keeping a very close eye on the bill that gets its first hearing in Olympia today that would make it harder to clear these encampments, right?
It'll make it nearly impossible because you heard over and over again, right, that the concerns of people, there was this one couple, they're like, well, we want to go to rehab, but we want to stay together.
Yeah, and they've been living there for years.
Right, and that's usually just not a situation that can work for myriad reasons. But in this bill, even to go into shelter, it's not considered shelter if you're not allowed to bring your partner with you or your pet or all your belongings,
right?
Which is a non-starter. Places like the Union Gospel Mission, the Salvation Army, which have shelter beds right now, they are not considered adequate shelter because they insist on sobriety.
I know people who have been helped by the Union Gospel Mission, right?
It's a great organization.
Yeah.
But I want to leave this on a note of hope.
I was just going to get there. I did have hope, but you go first.
No, I want you to talk about Hector.
How did you know I wanted to talk about Hector? I actually left with a smile because Hector clearly he was there, though. He was conscious and having a nice conversation. And Andrea said, look me in the eye. If you want help, Would you take it? And he said, that sounds amazing. And I think he really is going to call her and get the help he needs. And they provide an amazing service.
So
he wants to get clean, and he made that clear.
Available today. Andrea said we can get you in today.
He actually had a sparkle in his eye.
Yeah. So all hope is not lost.
Yeah.
They're trying, at least some organizations are trying to get people help and to work on this situation.
I'm really glad we're wrapping this conversation where we are, Charlie, because we've been friends for a long, long time. I'm lucky to work with you now, but we both landed on hope at the end.
We did.
And there is always hope.
There is hope. 6:23 now. We will, of course, be following all these developments.
Thank you, by the way, for pushing me to do that.
I think everybody should
I do too.
that.
I do too.
Sully, you have traffic.
And we are looking at building volumes through the loss of the express lanes on southbound I-5. We got ourselves about a 55-minute drive from Everett to Seattle, 35 of those minutes out of Linwood. So about 10 or 12 minutes slower than normal. A few early adopters over to 405, and we're seeing 45 minutes from Everett to Bellevue, 25 of that out of Linwood. Also seeing the brake lights a little bit further to the north in Marysville and across the trestle, but nothing you can't handle. Northbound 405 through the Renton S curves, a little thick now, 22 minutes to make the drive to Bellevue. Behind that, we're getting closer to 45 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Whatever we had north out of Sumner appears to be off to the shoulder because we've gone to yellow again on the map, not red, which is good. Olympia to Tacoma, 40 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, about 45. Lake bridges are still good. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Live professional boxing is back with the main event. February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. The main event powered by WFC, February 6th. Only at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
For today and tomorrow, very dense fog in the morning hours, but back to sunshine for the afternoon. Cooler, only in the upper 40s today and tomorrow, only 44 on Thursday. Again, no rain in the forecast until at least Monday. Right now it is foggy and 30 in the city.
Well, coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey, details on that proposed bill to clear homeless encampments and the opening bell report. It's 6:25 now, and saving for retirement, not easy. You skip the vacation, drive the car a few extra years. You tell yourself you really don't need the boat. You definitely needed the boat, but you made the sacrifice anyway. So if you put away $300,000 or more, that represents years of hard work and discipline, and the last thing you want to do is give more of it to the government than you have to. But here's what catches a lot of people off guard. Taxes can be your biggest expense in retirement. Taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, taxes on your Social Security, taxes on your investment income. It all adds up fast. So I want to tell you about my folks at Boss Retirement Solutions. They are offering a free, customized retirement tax savings analysis. No cost, no obligation. They'll show you strategies that could significantly reduce what you owe so more of your money stays right where it belongs, with you. Boss has 2 locations in the Seattle area. Give them a call, 206-210-1350, 206-210-1350. You earned it. Keep it, 206-210-1350.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No statement contained herein should constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
One win away from the Super Bowl.
You stacked plays. It started with a 95-yard. Shaheed to the end zone. Holy catfish.
We play our style of play. Games can look like this often.
The table is set for the NFC Championship game. Sunday at Lumen Field against the Rams. Kickoff at 3:30.
Job's not done.
We're going to do the same thing.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle and the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
We live here in Washington. I travel all over the state for work.
Affordable short-term rentals help us stay together and make Hazel feel at home.
Now Olympia is considering a huge tax increase on short-term rentals,
pricing us and other families out, since more than half of short-term rentals here are used by Washingtonians.
Costs on everything are going up.
Please tell legislators not to make our trips more expensive too.
Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive. Host PAC.
I don't typically make New Year's resolutions, but this year I need a change. I need to get healthy, work out, lose some weight, and get back on track. But figuring out what to eat is my biggest issue. I need to eat the right food so that I stay full and have energy all day long. I know the solution: Omaha Steaks. Starting the year strong is easier and more delicious with premium portioned proteins from Omaha Steaks. From handcrafted USDA certified tender steaks to gourmet burgers, versatile chicken and pork, seafood, and more. They have an unmatched variety of high quality proteins that everyone loves. And when you deserve that cheat day, and we all do from time to time, they also offer desserts and easy to prepare comfort food. Support your fresh start with high-quality proteins from Omaha Steaks. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code SKY at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code SKY. Terms apply. See site for details.
Every season is a little bit different here in Washington, but I'll tell you what, the amount of rain never seems to change in the winter, and we have sure gotten a ton of it this season. All that rain, all that water, it's all got to go somewhere. And if it makes its way into your crawl space, that's when it can create all sorts of problems, including real structural damage, which could really affect your home. But more importantly, for the health of your family, the water in that crawl space could create toxic mold, and that has serious health repercussions. Thankfully, we have Crawl Pros. They can come in and keep your crawl space dry, install a sump pump and drainage, and reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll also take care of any mold that may have been created. Don't take the risk. It's too important. The best way to learn if you have any water is to ask Crawl Pros to visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to. So if you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our clearance savings spectacular, and you don't want to miss it. We're slashing prices on all 2025 hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models ready for delivery. And here's the best part: 0% interest financing through 2031. That's right, no interest for 5 years. Ends January 25th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
More than 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients, and you can help us make a difference. Join us for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration on January 31st at Mary Hill Winery in Woodinville's Wine Country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more.
For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Buckys.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:31. A bill that would limit when cities and counties across Washington can clear homeless encampments gets its first hearing this afternoon in Olympia.
And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live with the story.
Yeah, Charlie, if this passes, House Bill 2489 would prevent cities and counties from enforcing anti-camping laws or removing encampments unless they can prove shelter was available at the time. Of course, a lot of cities are trying to figure out the best policies right now when it comes to homeless encampments. Last week, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson put the brakes on sweeping a controversial homeless camp in the Ballard neighborhood.
People understandably might not want an encampment near their business or near their residence, but if we're moving people along without actually getting them inside, then they're just going to another place and then they're going to be back.
In reaction, We Heart Seattle director Andrea Suarez said the camp is known for rampant drug use and local businesses have been the constant target of break-ins there.
It's a ticking time bomb for the community, whether it's fires, crime, assaults, theft of all kinds. This is a constellation of bad things to come if these camps are left unresolved.
So under this proposed bill, when it comes to a camp like that one in Ballard, if a shelter is available in Seattle, it would have to allow pets, partners, and personal belongings. Also, if the shelter had any kind of rules, like you have to be sober to be in this shelter or you have to go into a treatment program, well, those could actually disqualify that shelter from being considered. Opponents of this bill worry it's going to take a lot of power away from cities and counties to manage homelessness. Supporters like the ACLU say the bill is all about getting cities to stop treating the homeless like criminals. Also last week, Mayor Wilson, Manda, and Charlie signed an executive order to create a team to find the best way to expand shelter and housing for the homeless in Seattle. This bill could have a direct impact on that policy as well.
Okay, first hearing this afternoon. Thank you, Luke. 2 Portland police officers are recovering this morning. They were shot last night.
KOIN TV reports the officers were responding to a call about someone with a knife in the Lloyd district. When they arrived, someone opened fire. Both officers were hit and rushed to the hospital. Police say they're in stable condition. No arrests yet. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson called it a stark reminder of the dangers officers face every day.
Let's get a check on traffic now. Chris Sullivan is watching the roads. Are we experiencing the problems we have been with the Revive I-5 slowdown?
Yeah, of course we have. Yeah, of course. Where would they go, Charlie? There's anywhere to go.
Maybe sleep in, work from home.
No, unfortunately, right like clockwork at 5:50 in the morning, we generally start seeing the backup with the loss of the express lanes, and we did it again today. And we're already up to an hour from Everett to Seattle, about a 15 to 20-minute delay over what we normally see at this time of day, and it's more than 40 minutes just from Linwood on down. So bumper to bumper from about 175th down past where we lose the express lanes. For Everett to Bellevue, a lot of people are heading that direction, and so it's up to 50 minutes with a 10-minute delay there. So yeah, we're seeing it again. This is the start of the second week of this. Yesterday with the MLK holiday was super light. A lot of volume on westbound 410 now, trying to get on to through Sumner and up to 167 northbound. We might have had a crash just north of the exit there, so plan on some delays getting out of Bonnie Lake. Looking at the Valley Freeway itself, really heavy out of Auburn, so 45 to 50 minutes now to make it up to Renton. Renton to Bellevue's over 25 minutes, 45 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Heaviest spot there, getting up past 320th. Lake bridges are in good shape. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial, 97.3 HD2.
Our forecast, very thick fog again this morning, but some sunshine by afternoon, warming up to only 49. 47 tomorrow. Again, look for fog in the morning, but sunshine in the afternoon as we wrap up the week Thursday and Friday. Partly cloudy both days, and highs only in the mid-40s. Right now in Seattle, it's foggy and 30.
Going to be a bumpy ride on Wall Street today. Stocks are tumbling after the president's latest tariff announcements. Here's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Over the long holiday weekend in the U.S., President Trump posted on social media that 10% tariffs would go into effect on February 1st on goods sent to the U.S. from Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Finland. Those tariffs would increase to 25% on June 1st and remain in place until a deal is reached for what the president called, quote, the complete and total purchase of Greenland.
Well, just ahead of President Trump's arrival, the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, is trying to calm nerves on the sidelines in Davos over the Greenland controversy. We get more from the BBC's Faisal Islam in Davos.
President Trump's extraordinary attempt to project military and economic power over NATO allies towers like the Swiss Alps over this year's gathering in Davos. BBC News was told of a meeting between America's business and political elite where concerns about Mr. Trump's designs on Greenland were expressed clearly.
Well, the president is downplaying the pushback from European leaders over his effort to take over Greenland.
More orders for Boeing. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
January has been a big month for Boeing, with several significant orders announced. Ethiopian Airlines is the latest, committing to 9 new 787 Dreamliners. The airline already operates the largest Boeing fleet in Africa and is waiting for more deliveries. Earlier this month, Alaska Airlines announced they'd buy more than 100 planes and up to 90 for Delta. A leasing company, the Aviation Capital Group, announced a 50-plane acquisition. All good news for one of Washington's largest employers, which is recovering from high-profile safety issues, increased regulatory oversight, and strikes while trying to amp up production and deliveries. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
A new Boeing fighter jet will train U.S. Air Force pilots. Boeing says the T-7A Red Hawk will replace the T-38, which has been around for more than 65 years. Lieutenant General Clark Quinn spoke last Friday at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph Air Force Base in Texas in a video news release from Boeing.
The T-7 represents our commitment to staying ahead of the curve
and ensuring our Air Force remains the most dominant air power in the world.
According to Boeing, the T-7A has state-of-the-art avionics for a new level of safety.
That kind of sounded like a Luke Tech Talk. The music in the background so dramatic.
Not scary enough. That was kind of patriotic and awe-inspiring.
We'll work on it. Well, the Las Vegas Sphere may soon get a smaller cousin.
You see the bird with a leaf in her mouth.
The company behind the original Sphere, which has hosted acts from U2, Dead and Company to The Wizard of Oz, has plans to build a smaller version outside Washington, D.C. Sphere Entertainment has taken the wraps off a mini Sphere at National Harbor on the banks of the Potomac River in Maryland. The plan calls for a 6,000-seat immersive experience that would open in 2030. The new Sphere would be about a third the size of the original and cost roughly $1 billion. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Did we mention it was going to be a rough day on Wall Street? Well, the Dow is down about 645 points now because of all the kerfuffle over Greenland. We're standing at 48,714. S&P 500 is down 90. The NASDAQ down about 364 points.
Now, word for KIRO 7 News, live starting at 4 News that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News is happening now, so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. News that's local, because where you live matters. Know more, know now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
6:39. Sully, are we back to a non-holiday commute this morning?
Oh, yeah. We're back into the fun and joy of driving on I-5 without the express lanes. Yeah, we'll break it down for you coming up next.
Be there when the Seahawks make history. Hello! KIRO Newsradio's giving away 2 tickets to the NFC Championship game.
Oh, my word!
Sunday against L.A. at Lumen Field.
I can't tell you how pumped I am to see what the 12s bring.
Download the KIRO Newsradio app and click the Win tab to enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your odds.
This should be fun.
Enter daily now through Wednesday, January 21st. Contest rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
Do you need glasses or contacts and you're now at the age where you also need readers? K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to eliminate the need for all those. Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision. Andy, for those nearing age 50 or so, refractive lens exchange can be a great alternative to LASIK.
That's right, Joe. K2 Vision RLE is a terrific permanent solution for a lifetime of great vision. The older we get, we experience the dysfunction of our natural lens, which affects both distance vision and requires the use of reading glasses. Plus, after K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
And like LASIK, K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless. The question is, which procedure is right for you?
After replacing more than 100,000 failing lenses, we have the experience to tell you if it's your right time for RLE.
Schedule your free Zoom consultation with us about K2 Vision RLE to get your eyes seeing young again, permanently.
Go to K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE.com.
Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Trust and Will.
My dad and I were always close, but some things we just didn't talk about, like his will. After he was gone, we found out he didn't have one, and it created a lot of stress during a time of grief.
Creating a will can be hard to think about, but avoiding it can lead to greater difficulty for the people you love. That's why Trust and Will makes estate planning simple. Create a will online in as little as 30 minutes.
Now, I have a will in place to make sure my loved ones are protected. With Trust and Will, it was easy and affordable, and I got peace of mind knowing my wishes are clear.
Trust and Will.
Get 20% off when you visit trustandwill.com/plan. That's trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
If you've been injured in a car accident, you have 2 choices: handle everything yourself or hire an experienced attorney. Go it alone, and you'll be on the phone with insurance adjusters, chasing medical records, fighting for lost wages, and trying to figure out what your case is really worth. Hire the right attorney, and they take all that off your plate so you can focus on getting better. Harold Carr Law Offices has a dedicated team of 48 people and more than 35 years of experience handling car accident cases right here in our community. Harold Carr Law Offices handles big cases and small ones while still treating their clients like family. Here's the difference they make. They save you time, reduce your stress, and get you significantly more money than you'd ever get on your own. Harold Carr Law Offices fights for you at no out-of-pocket cost to you. If you're in a car accident, call them right away. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
6:43 now, and Chris Sullivan is watching traffic.
Yeah, and we've got a bumper-to-bumper drive from about 175th on southbound I-5 down past where we lose the express lanes or where they're not open to us, going down past about 85th before kind of thinning out. So we're about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Seattle with 50 of those minutes from Linwood. 20-minute delays now on the I-5 corridor. A lot of people are going to 405, and so it's really thick just right away from the I-5 split there in Alderwood. So give yourself about just under an hour from Everett to Bellevue and 40 of those minutes out of Linwood, so behind schedule by about 15. There are also brake lights near 128th coming down as well. Marysville's got a couple of brake lights, but nothing you can handle. Trestle's okay, westbound 522, a little heavy over the Snohomish River, but again, nothing out of line. The northbound 167 corridor is very slow today, getting up past Emerald Downs, a lot of weaving and merging there. Give yourself about 50 minutes to go from Puyallup to Renton. We're easing from Bonnie Lake to Sumner. It looks like the crash we had on northbound 167 just after the Sumner interchange is out of the way. Northbound I-5 struggling a little bit through the Nisqually Basin, but again, by most days' standards, if you got a 40-minute trip to Tacoma, that's a win. Federal Way to Seattle's running just under 50 minutes, which is great. Lake bridges are quiet. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Save $600 off windows, $1,500 off doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors, plus enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Don't wait to visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Thick fog this morning, a high of 49. Will be sunny again later today. Pretty much the same thing for tomorrow, just a tad cooler on Thursday. Only 44 for the high. Partly cloudy both Thursday and Friday. Don't see any rain in the forecast until Monday. Maybe just a few light scattered sprinkles on Sunday, but we're looking for rain Monday. Right now in Seattle, foggy and 30.
Do you know how much these things cost?
What things, Charlie?
The Seattle Seahawks tickets?
Well, yes, I do, actually.
Well, and now, like on the secondary market, if you want to go to the game, well, here is your chance.
How about
because
free?
We've got 2 tickets to the final game of the season, NFC Championship. You just opened
It's
the
not
KIRO.
the final game of the season. Final home game.
That's
right.
Come on, baby. We're going to Super Bowl. Come on now.
Final game of the season at Lumen Field. Yes.
David just stiffed you. He was trying to fist bump you.
Just open the KIRO
Sorry,
Newsradio
I'm trying
app
to scheme how I can get these
and click
tickets somehow.
the Win tab to find out how to enter. If you don't have the app, text app to 888-973-5476. We will send you a download link. You can enter today and tomorrow to increase your chances. Enter now only on the KIRO Newsradio app.
Good luck. All right, Sully, what's coming up in your choke point?
We're going to take a look at the ferry system and dive into a little bit about boat lifespans and really how out of line our system is with the maritime industry.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
An organized home is a happy home and a happy homeowner. John Curley here. Closets by Design made me and my home happy. Experience the quality and backing of a national brand with friendly local Seattle service. From booking the appointment to a free in-home consult to installation day, Closets by Design will leave you wowed and clutter-free. Right now, get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to schedule today.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, Governor Ferguson wants to add $1 billion to the transportation budget to address the aging ferry fleet. As writers know, the ferry system is operating on a razor-thin margin.
And Sully is here now with a look at the realities of the fleet.
And first of all, let's go with some of the positive news. The ferry service returned to full capacity last year with 18 boats available to be on the water. That's a good thing. Boats carried over 20 million passengers for the first time since 2019, a million more passengers last year than the year before. So that's really good. But some recent mechanical issues knocked out a few boats, leading to the boat shuffling and the delays that we've all gotten used to. And I'm not sure how many people understand just how fragile the system is, that you can lose a boat and it can really knock things way out of whack. The ferry's John Vizina spoke with the legislature last week, spelling out just how bad it is. Now, I don't know a lot about boats, especially big ones, but they apparently have shelf lives. I guess, duh, why not? In the private sector, boats or ships, think like cruise lines, are retired much faster than our ferries.
Boats are kept in service for 20, 25 years. Ours are expected to last for 60.
Think about that. 25 years, maritime industry. Ours last more than double that. And that means a lot of extra money to keep aging boats in service. And I mean, the state fleet is old. I mean, really old. The oldest boat is 67.
5 of those vessels are over 50 years old, and 5 are over 40. So 11 of our 21 vessel fleet is beyond the vessel lifespan that most maritime organizations would operate their vessels.
The average age of our boats is 35 years. Again, 15 years above the industry standards. Now, the legislature has not done a good job of funding new vessels as the boats have aged. Of course, we all probably may have forgotten that there was that bidding process for new boats that was so out of whack that the state had to start over. There was only one shipyard that bid, and the cost was way over budget, so they just scrapped it and started over. That's why the legislature chose to open up boat building contracts to out-of-state companies. That's where we sit with a deal to build 3 new electric hybrids. But the first one won't be ready until 2030.
By the time we get our new vessels in 2030, between 2000 and 2030, we will have built 7 vessels in 30 years. It's hard to maintain a ferry service at that pace.
7 in 30 years. That's kind of eye-opening. I don't think people realize that. A lot of people have asked if there's any way to speed up this process. For example, can't the state just quickly build some of the older design diesel boats, right? We already know those. Let's just build them, throw them out there. Republican State Senator Phil Fortunato brought that up last week.
If we were to mix in some diesels, could we get more vehicles or more boats online sooner? In other words, if we were to say, hey, we're going to do 3 diesels and keep the hybrid electric, could those diesels get online sooner?
Ferry Services, Vizina says no. The reason, the plants for those old diesel boats don't exist.
The propulsion systems for those vessels, the manufacturer no longer makes them. So we couldn't just continue building those vessels.
The state would have to start building those new diesel boats from scratch. And the timeline to build is close as what it would take to build hybrids.
We are very confident in saying that we are on the fastest path and that diverting to start building diesel would actually slow things down because of the the process we'd need to create that design.
And that's where the ferry system sits. No guarantee the legislature is going to give Governor Ferguson the money he wants for the improvements, because the lawmakers don't like that funding source, as we talked about last week. Are a lot of fans of raising money based on bonding against our tax revenue to raise this money. But yeah, I think this is a pretty stark reminder to realize just how old these boats are and how much maintenance they need, and why we just can't turn out boats like that. I mean, it's a bad situation, and it can all be laid back on the lap of the legislature and their lack of prioritization over the last 20 years or so.
I want a round of applause, a pat on the back, just a general cheer for those maintenance crews.
Oh, right? Are you kidding me? Heck yeah.
Yeah, those guys have kept these, and gals have kept these boats in service way beyond their life expectancy.
Houdinis.
They're hard, dirty jobs, and they're keeping us. That is commerce. That is commuting. That so much goes on there, and these guys do it without even thinking twice.
And
great job.
And Vizina told the lawmakers last week that he was in there talking to one of the maintenance crews on one of the older boats, and they're like, "We can keep this thing running, boss. We can keep this thing running," because they're proud of that. And yeah, it's they can do it, but they shouldn't have to, right? Sometimes we need new things. And this system is very fragile. But yeah, good on the workers. And by the way, it's a great career. And they always need oil people. They always need engineer people. They always need front deck. It's a good industry to get into if you're looking.
Can't replace that with AI.
No. Yeah, I don't think AI is in there and getting greasy in there with the wrenches and all the stuff they need in there.
Okay. Sully, that's up on mynorthwest.com.
Yep,
we need to check traffic now.
Yeah, well, it's not pleasant if you're coming down out of the north end. We're well over an hour and 20 minutes now to go from Everett to Seattle. That's what happens when you don't have the express lanes open in the southbound direction. We've got 50 of those minutes from Linwood, so about a 25-minute delay. You hit the brakes right at 175th, and you're on them now to about 85th, maybe leaking into the U District. 405, bumper to bumper away from Linwood down through Bothell, so it's up over an hour and 5 minutes, a little bit behind schedule there. Other than that, coming out of the north end is relatively normal. A few brake lights in Marysville, a couple of minutes behind. Cross the trestle, no big deal. Renton to Bellevue, 25 minutes. We're up to 50 from Puyallup to Renton. Pretty heavy out of Auburn today. The Olympia to Tacoma drive's manageable, about 42 minutes to Tacoma. Federal Way to Seattle running faster than normal with the express lanes open in the northbound direction, about 50 minutes for you guys. This report brought to you by Northwest Hope and Healing. Join Northwest Hope and Healing for Cork Fork and support. An afternoon of wine tasting inspiration. Get your tickets now for January 31st. nwhopeandhealing.org.
Fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. A high today of 49.
Latest world and national headlines, followed by top local news on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
Nearing retirement? Do you know what retirement will cost you? John Curley here from Madrona Financial. Retirement isn't just about income. It's about avoiding big mistakes and blind spots that hurt so many. Taxes, healthcare, inflation. Even with reasonable growth, those three alone can wreck your retirement if ignored. Gain knowledge on how to turn your money into a system that supports you when times are good or bad. Join Matt Beyer and Madrona Financial and CPAs for a free virtual retirement planning workshop Tuesday, the 27th of January at 6:30 p.m. Attend from the comfort of your own home. Bring your spouse, too. You'll learn what a complete retirement plan looks like, not just a portfolio. Just call right now to RSVP, and they'll email you the Zoom link. Again, Tuesday, the 27th, 6:30 p.m., online via Zoom. To RSVP, call 833-673-7373 or sign up online at madronafinancial.com/events. It's free, but you'll need to RSVP. Call 833-673-7373.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com today.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Guys, your New Year goals start now. Get limited time savings on our most popular treatments at Revive Men's Health. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to see if you qualify to save hundreds.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Stocks are dropping in early trading as President Trump doubles down on his threat to tax EU nations, a day before he's set to join them at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Dow's down 665, S&P off 91, and the Nasdaq's down 360. Joe Osceola.
These are some pretty extreme tariffs. He's saying he's going to put 10% tariffs starting on February 1st on 8 NATO members who have come out in defense of Greenland. That would raise the effective tax rate quite a bit if that were to actually go through.
U.S. allies already in Davos have been voicing frustration and concern today. Former U.S. ambassador to NATO, Kay Bailey Hutchinson, tells CBS Mornings.
I think that we will have more assets in Greenland, which I think is the right thing to do. And I think we'll do it with the cooperation of the Danes, the Greenlanders, and all of NATO.
Speaking from Switzerland, California Governor Gavin Newsom urged Europeans to stand up to the president's tariff threats and, quote, have a backbone. Today marks 1 year since President Trump was sworn in for a second term. Insight from CBS News Chief Washington Analyst Robert Costa.
President Trump is someone who still has grievances about how the rest of the world sees him and the United States. And unlike so many ambassadors here in Washington who say that their leaders are following a certain unwritten playbook about how to govern in world affairs, President Trump's following his own intuition, and this is rattling world leaders.
CBS News poll finds 41% of Americans approve of the job he's doing so far, 59% disapprove. A major winter storm and dangerously cold temperatures have the northern U.S. in a deep freeze. Correspondent Tom Hansen is in suburban Harrison, New York.
In New York State, it was near whiteout conditions for drivers in the Buffalo area as bands of snow moved in, on top of wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour and 10 inches of snow in some parts. In the small town of Clifton, New York, 2 men died on Sunday after falling through the ice and into frigid water, according to state police. They had been ice fishing.
Prince Harry's back at court in London.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk.
Good morning, Harry.
Walking briskly into day 2 of his privacy lawsuit at London's High Court. The Duke of Sussex has joined 6 other claimants, including Elton John and Liz Hurley, in accusing the Daily Mail of phone hacking, among other privacy breaches. On day 1, Harry's lawyer said the Mail's intrusions left his client distressed and paranoid. The Mail denies all the accusations against it. Vicky Barker, CBS News.
Dow now down 713. This is CBS News.
Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
7:03, time for traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Here we go again. Already up to an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett into Seattle with an hour out of Linwood with the loss of the express lanes. So we're starting off, our first real, day of the week, a commuting day, kind of back what we experienced last week. And this is our life for the next 5 months. A lot of people heading over to the Linwood area, or to 405 early. So it's up to about 50 minutes out of Linwood, an hour and 10 all the way. So about 15 to 20 minutes behind schedule. And of course, a lot earlier than normal, we've hit the $15 mark in the express toll lanes.
It's a better system while we have the closures in place.
Just remember that. Federal Way to Seattle running right around 50 minutes from end to end. Renton to Bellevue about 25. Puyallup to Renton's only 50 minutes, which is manageable for this time of day. Olympia to Tacoma is not too bad either, but those drives out of Snohomish County are going to be very difficult again today. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:04. Investigators now believe an early morning fire in Tacoma was arson.
The call initially came in reporting a stabbing about 4:30 in the morning in the 4000 block of South 34th Street. That's not far from the Fircrest Golf Club. Police got there and found multiple people injured, with 3 sent to area hospitals. The house was on fire. Crews knocked it down, but the initial evidence shows it may have been intentionally set. There is a lot going on there. We'll bring you more information as it comes in.
A bill that would sharply limit when cities and counties across Washington can clear homeless encampments gets its first hearing this afternoon in Olympia. Under the proposal, shelters that require sobriety or treatment could be ruled off limits.
We get more on this live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, if this bill passes, it's House Bill 2489. It would prevent cities and counties from enforcing anti-camping laws or removing encampments unless they can provide a shelter and that it was available at the time that they were making that decision about sweeping. Opponents are worried about the consequences for local policymakers here. For instance, last week, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson signed an executive order to create a team to find the best way to expand shelter and housing for the homeless in Seattle. Well, she also put the brakes on sweeping a controversial homeless camp in the Ballard neighborhood.
People understandably might not want an encampment near their business or near their residence, but if we're moving people along without actually getting them inside, then they're just going to another place and then they're going to be back.
However, the rub for a lot of people, opponents, under this proposed bill when it comes to a camp like that one in Ballard, if a shelter in Seattle is available at the time that decision's being made, even if Mayor Wilson and her team created it with, say, city money, it would have to allow pets, partners, and personal belongings, and any shelter, if they have rules like you have to be sober or you have to go into a treatment program to be in the shelter, well, that right there could disqualify that shelter from being considered. We Heart Seattle Director Andrea Suarez said that Ballard Homeless Camp is known for rampant drug use, and local businesses have been the constant target of break-ins.
This, from my perspective, will be a tragedy if these camps continue to stay. They are open-air drug scenes. I can hear the foil now. I can hear the clicking of torches. There's squalid living conditions. There's rodents. It's right here on the bike trail.
Supporters of this bill, like the ACLU, say the bill is all about getting cities to stop treating the homeless like criminals. The bill would protect, though, a wide range of activities on public property, including sleeping, protecting personal belongings from the weather as well, so people could put up tarps, tents, and make larger makeshift shelters for themselves. That's what opponents do not like. They don't want to see that. This bill, Charlie and Amanda, is in committee right now. A lot of hoops to still jump through. It's going to be discussed for the first time, however, in that committee later on this afternoon.
Luke, thank you. How long should police be allowed to keep your license plate data? That is the question state lawmakers tackle today when they take up the Driver Privacy Act.
I'm Jillian Raftery. Senate Bill 6002 would cut the retention window for cameras like Flock from 30 days to just 72 hours. That's 3 days. Police agencies say the cameras help them track down suspects and solve crimes faster. The ACLU supports the shorter window, though, saying the best way to protect data is to delete it as soon as possible. The bill comes after Auburn found out last fall that federal border agents accessed its Flock cameras without permission. Redmond responded by shutting down its system altogether.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he stands by his words. He spoke with KIRO Newsradio's John Curley after the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs considers his expulsion. The controversy stems from Swank's testimony last week before the State Senate Law and Justice Committee.
I only regret that I only had 90 seconds to speak, so you should read what my written speech was. That's my only regret, so I could even tell more about what they're doing there.
Swank opposes legislation that would set stricter eligibility standards for sheriffs. The association labeled his testimony inflammatory, but Swank says the bill unfairly targets elected sheriffs. He also criticized a measure to ban law enforcement from wearing masks.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
It is 7:08. It's Tuesday. It's the 20th of January already.
It's hard to believe that
is.
It's not only the 20th of January. President Trump has been in office a year
Yes,
today.
he has.
So
a lot has happened.
something to consider. We have a full hour of programming ahead for you, but I have to mention just really quickly.
Yes.
If you play Wordle and you're a fan of
Which you do
Seattle's
daily.
Morning News, I play it every morning. It's a big one for us. And if you know what the Wordle answer is, feel free to text into Sully and celebrate with him.
I cheated, so I know what it is.
Yeah,
I didn't
all right.
play,
Of course
but-
you
Way
did.
to ruin everyone's morning, Charlie.
To celebrate with you?
No, to give him the Wordle answer.
I didn't give the Wordle answer.
No.
I don't think conduit is 5 letters. So I'm going to do that.
Well played, David.
There you go. All right. So coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to speak with News Nation host Leland Vittert. He joins us every Wednesday. He's going to talk about the president's first year in office and his push for control of Greenland.
What's coming up on the 7:35 commentary?
Well, sometimes what teenagers need most is a little social pressure. We'll talk about it at 7:35.
It's 7:10. Nearly 9 months after a violent takeover at the University of Washington, no one has been charged with a crime. Como TV reports 34 people were arrested after pro-Palestinian protesters took over the IEB building on campus last spring.
You may remember they barricaded themselves inside, cost an estimated $1 million in damage. King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office says it's still waiting for more information from UW police before deciding on charges. Meanwhile, the university says the students' suspensions have been served. They can re-enroll once they pay any outstanding balances. Jewish alumni and campus observers say the lack of criminal accountability could embolden future disruptions.
The Kitsap County Sheriff's Office says a missing woman is safe. Investigators believe she was lured from her home in Bremerton by 21-year-old Leroy Franklin Nichols, a convicted sex offender whom she met online about a month ago. Kevin McCarthy in the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office says it's a relief to have her back.
She's on the autism spectrum. She's somebody who can't remember her own address, can't navigate public transportation or anything like that. So she was certainly endangered.
Deputies arrested Nichols yesterday in Olympia.
Police are trying to find a shoplifter who hit someone while speeding away from the scene of a crime. Happened Friday at Kemp's Cannabis in Seattle's Belltown area. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports most of it was caught on surveillance video.
Minutes before this collision, security video shows the woman in the shop. As the employee steps away, the woman looks around, then suddenly grabs a bag off the counter. We're told it had less than $50 worth of marijuana. The employee, realizing what happened, chases after her as she runs across the street to her Jeep.
Well, the Seahawks backfield takes a major hit headed into the NFC Championship. Darn it. Zach Charbonnet is out for the postseason after suffering a knee injury against San Francisco. Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald broke the news to Brock and Salk on 710 Seattle Sports.
Our heart goes out to him, so prayers goes out to Sharbs.
And we love him, man.
The team says he'll undergo surgery, leaving Seattle to lean more heavily on its remaining backs.
7:12 now. Let's check weather. We are joined by Nick Allard, meteorologist for KIRO 7 TV. I guess we're starting with the fog, aren't we, Nick?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of it. It's all over the place. I mean, if you drive basically from Chehalis north to about Mount Vernon, you're either going to have a quarter of a mile visibility to maybe a couple of mile visibility. So it's everywhere. So it's all over the place, and it is cold enough where there could be a few slick spots. You know, there might be a couple places on sidewalks or bridges or overpasses, but temps overall, if you looked at the entire area, are a little bit warmer than this time yesterday. But the bottom line is fog early. I think by lunchtime, a lot of that lifts into somewhat of a low cloud deck, and then I am thinking you're going to see sunshine this afternoon, but it takes a while. I really do think it takes a while. We're probably only going to see, mostly cloudy skies at noon, and then eventually after about 3-4 o'clock, then we should start going with some sunshine later in the day with highs in the upper 40s. Very similar plan tomorrow with just fog, then sunshine again. But Thursday should be mostly cloudy, and if you're going to see rain, Thursday's probably your best bet for just a couple of sprinkles out there, but that's really all I see, because then Friday and Saturday you have the same sort of plan where it's some fog and then a little bit of sun, and then on Sunday we're dry for the game before some rain does come back in for Monday. It's a really weird week, but for sure the big thing you're going to hit when you head out is the fog.
Okay, but not bad for the NFC Championship.
I don't think it looks bad at all, and I think it's dry. I think it's probably some high clouds, but maybe partly to mostly cloudy and temps in the mid-40s. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want because I'm scared of the Rams. I mean, I went to the game in 05 out of the 04 season when we lost to the Rams in the playoffs. I was at that game, and it wasn't good then, and I'm still scared of them now.
Still hasn't gotten over it. All right, Nick. 32 in Seattle right now.
And it's 7:13, time for a check on traffic. For that, here's Sully.
And we are pushing up to 90 minutes now to make the drive from Everett into Seattle. So behind schedule by 25 to 30 minutes. That's our life without the express lanes in the southbound direction during the morning commute. Backup begins just south of the Edmonds exit and extends all the way to the U District now. So 7-8 miles worth of fun to work your way down. 99 southbound is an option at this point, but it is starting to fill in just north of the Green Lake area. South of that, though, it's okay. A lot of people have headed over to the 405 corridor to try to avoid this, and it's up to an hour now from Linwood and an hour and 20 from Everett, so behind schedule by about 20 minutes. Also starting to see the daily backup on westbound 522 trying to approach 405 because you're kind of driving into some of the extra volume there. It's backed up to Highway 9. So that's our situation out of the north end. The South End drive isn't too bad. Olympia to Tacoma's got about a 40-minute trip, maybe a little under. Federal Way to Seattle's running 15 minutes faster than normal because you have the express lanes open and there's no forced merge downtown. 45 to 50 minutes, Federal Way to Seattle. About 50 minutes, Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue's not quite a half an hour. And it looks like we might have something brewing towards the Mount Baker Tunnel on westbound I-90. It's backed up across to Mercer Island. I'll have more for you in 10. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Save $600, that is, off windows. $1,500 off doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. Don't wait to visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live. Stream it online. Watch the show or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
Let the man finish, Charlie.
I will. Thank you, Manda. It's 7:15 now, and there are growing concerns over who will be part of the president's Board of Peace to supervise the rebuilding of Gaza. The list of invitees included Russia's Vladimir Putin, Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky. However, French President Emmanuel Macron has already declined. CBS News correspondent Robert Berger reports that while the conditions are not good for people in Gaza, the food situation has improved.
Hundreds of trucks have been going in a day. So organizations like the UN and World Food Kitchen have managed to stave off starvation and famine that we saw earlier. But overall, the situation there, it's misery for the Palestinians and really no end in sight because it's going to take years to rebuild Gaza.
A lot of people are asking why the French President Emmanuel Macron was wearing sunglasses during his speech at Davos.
Yeah.
As it turns out, he's suffering from an eye condition. He says it's no big deal, but I saw a picture from last week, and it is very, very bloodshot.
Yeah.
So that's why. He wasn't just trying to look cool.
Got those mirrored sunglasses he was wearing. That was kind of interesting to see. One of the largest measles outbreaks in the U.S. has been linked to new cases on the other side of the country.
Health officials in Washington state confirm an outbreak connected to a contagious family traveling from South Carolina. That's where there's been a major outbreak of the highly contagious viral disease, with a recent 30% surge and more than 550 cases so far. The 3 measles cases in Washington are all among unvaccinated children just north of Seattle. Local officials are now trying to contain it. Last year was the nation's worst for the spread of measles in the U.S. since 1991, the CDC reporting more than 2,000 cases. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
It's now 7:18. Well, every Tuesday we chat with the host of On Balance, which airs weeknights on News Nation. Leland Vittert is with us.
Good morning, Leland. Thanks for joining us by phone today. Let's start with Davos, Greenland. President Trump is there. What are you watching for?
How much he shoves it in the Europeans' face, frankly. This is sort of the ultimate paradox, right, of Donald Trump, who has built his political movement on destroying institutions and the kind of elite cabal of Washington, and in a larger sense of the World Economic Forum, sort of the institution of New York and D.C., and now he's there and they have to listen to him.
Some are saying this is the end of NATO as we know it. Do you agree?
I don't know if it's the end of NATO as we know it, although the end of NATO as we know it may not be a bad thing for the United States. NATO has looked at this as like some kind of sacred cow that can never be challenged or criticized. And NATO is a defense pact, right? A defense alliance was put in place to confront the Soviet Union. Well, if you want to be part of a defense alliance, you need to defend yourself and be able to contribute to the collective defense. The British military right now has 150 battle tanks. That's it. Most of them were built before I was born. The French have 90 pieces of field artillery. That is less than the number of field artillery pieces that Putin loses every month in Ukraine. The Danes, who currently control Greenland and are talking about how Greenland is theirs and, America must come to protect it and are flying their 15 troops there to make some point. They don't have a single submarine to protect Greenland, which would be needed in any kind of conflict involving Greenland. And they don't have a single piece of field artillery. So I think that as Americans, it's incumbent upon us to sort of ask ourselves exactly what are the Europeans upset about and what do they have to contribute and why are they so upset? And I think the reason that they're so upset is because they are finally being called on their freeloading for the past however many decades and their slide towards an illiberal progressive socialist ideology in their own countries and not contributing to the collective defense. So maybe the ending of NATO as we know it isn't a bad thing.
When we talk about Greenland, one of the things the Danes bring up is the U.S. is welcome here. You have a treaty that allows troops to be here. Why do you want to seize land from us? That doesn't seem to me like our top national priority, or am I just way off here, Leland?
Well, as anyone would point out, owning something is different than being allowed to build bases there, which then can be revoked. Number two, that doesn't preclude the Danes from allowing the Chinese to also have large strategic interests in and around Greenland, which would be terrible for the United States for national security and frankly for the security of NATO. And number three, and I think Trump is making this point not unfairly, if America is going to carry this far greater burden of protecting Europe while Europe freeloads, why shouldn't we get something in return? If we are going to go protect Greenland and use it to protect Europe, why would we not have with us some type of remuneration the other way? Put it another way. All Europe wants to talk about is how important it is to confront Putin, right? Putin, Ukraine. The U.S. having control of Greenland and being able to build missile shield technology in Greenland and being able to harvest rare earth minerals in Greenland and boxing the Chinese out of Greenland all does things to confront Putin. So why would the Europeans be against it?
Let's talk about Davos real quick. French President Emmanuel Macron is apparently going to say no thanks to President Trump's Board of Peace on Gaza. And now Trump is threatening a 200% tariff on French wines. Ultimately, who's paying for tariffs like this?
Well, last time I checked, that anybody who's consuming French wine is going to be the one who's going to pay for the tariffs on this. That's how tariffs work. Now, have prices gone up equivalent to what the tariffs are? No, because suppliers in the other countries have eaten some of them. So in that extent, Trump is correct that he's been able to extract some kinds of economic pain from those that he is putting the tariffs on. And I'm old enough to remember when everyone said that the U.S. economy was going to crash and RIP our 401ks when the tariffs came on. That didn't really turn out that way. I see what is happening, right, is that Donald Trump has, in his first year of his second term, continued to destroy the norms, right? There's no law against what Donald Trump is doing. It was that Americans didn't do this. This was not how civilized or Western or enlightened republics and democracies interacted with each other. And Donald Trump sees that America has gotten the short end of the stick after that, which I think is fairly true because it's been used against America, that construct. And now he wants to change the playing field.
Leland, you've blown up the text line as always. We always appreciate you. Before we go,
I want to respond to the text line sometime. I mean, come on, we got to do this.
That would be fun.
Once a month, we're going to have open text line.
Okay, we can do that. I think we will just say ahead of time Leland's going to be on and let her rip. But before we let you go, Leland, who do you got this weekend? Seahawks versus Rams.
Hawks. Just say Hawks.
You see, the problem is that I'm facing is that I am a natural contrarian.
No way.
What?
Yeah. But then I also like being right.
So you're going Hawks.
So if I like, yeah. I like being right more than I like being contrarian.
And you don't want to offend your friends here in Seattle.
I mean, let me ask you this. Based on the text line, haven't I already done that enough this morning?
We love having you on, Leland. Thanks for your time this morning. We'll check in with you next week as we'll get your take on Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah, go Hawks. All right, thanks, Leland.
I'll pick the Hawks in that. I don't see how unless they screw it up, they have a pretty clear shot. I'll put it this way. I was on radio in Denver about 2 hours ago. They're not feeling very good about their chances.
Oh, yeah.
True.
All right.
Leland Vittert, News Nation, weeknights at 6 in Seattle. Sully, take it away with traffic.
And we're up to an hour and 40 minutes now from Everett into Seattle, an hour and 20 of that away from Linwood. So for 35 to 40-minute delays on I-5, we're up to a half an hour delay with an hour and 25 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. That's all the loss of the express lanes. Looks like we do have a crash or a stall blocking a lane westbound I-90 as you approach the Mount Baker Tunnel. We're backed up from the middle of Mercer Island. Going to need about 30 minutes to go from Bellevue to Seattle. The rest of the map looks about average for this time. I'll give you the travel times in 10. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com today.
MyLowe's Pro Rewards members go big during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get member volume discounts plus an extra 5% off eligible orders with a quote of $2,000 or more. Plus, buy more and save more with up to 25% off DWV pipes when you spend $250 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 123. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Can't be combined with any contract or special pricing. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
For a long time, I thought retirement planning was mostly about hitting a number. Get there, and then life starts. Hi, this is Ursula Royteen. What Trajan Wealth helped me see is that the number is really only part of the story. At Trajan Wealth, their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're obligated to put your needs first, and they start by asking how you actually want your life to feel. When Mark and I sat down with them, we talked about having more time with family, more time to travel, and how to make thoughtful choices without feeling like we had to put today on hold for tomorrow. I have goals for today and for when I retire. If you're ready to start the new year with straight talk and thoughtful guidance, call Trajan Wealth today and schedule a free meeting. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300 or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
An organized home is a happy home and a happy homeowner. John Curley here. Closets by Design made me and my home happy. Experience the quality and backing of a national brand with friendly local Seattle service. From booking the appointment to a free in-home consult to installation day, Closets by Design will leave you wowed and clutter-free. Right now, get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to schedule today.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service. I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment. And I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance. And I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had a million questions and they walked us through every step of the process. And then they're working for you. So they're not working for insurance companies. They're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
If you've been injured in a car accident, you have two choices. Handle everything yourself or hire an experienced attorney. Go it alone, and you'll be on the phone with insurance adjusters, chasing medical records, fighting for lost wages, and trying to figure out what your case is really worth. Hire the right attorney, and they take all that off your plate so you can focus on getting better. Harold Carr Law Offices has a dedicated team of 48 people and more than 35 years of experience handling car accident cases right here in our community. Harold Carr Law Offices handles big cases and small ones while still treating their clients like family. Here's the difference they make. They save you time, reduce your stress, and get you significantly more money than you'd ever get on your own. Harold Carr Law Offices fights for you at no out-of-pocket cost to you. If you're in a car accident, call them right away. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call Carr.
We live here in Washington. I travel all over the state for work.
Affordable short-term rentals help us stay together and make Hazel feel at home.
Now Olympia is considering a huge tax increase on short-term rentals,
pricing us and other families out, since more than half of short-term rentals here are used by Washingtonians.
Costs on everything are going up.
Please tell legislators not to make our trips more expensive too.
Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive. Host PAC.
With Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, maintenance is the key to a long-lasting roof. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? Call us today. Our first-time customers can save $99. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, it is 7:31. A bill getting its first hearing this afternoon in Olympia would make it much harder for cities and counties statewide to clear homeless encampments.
Especially if available shelters require sobriety or treatment. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
Yeah, Charlie, House Bill 2489 is still in committee, and already it's creating controversy. It would prevent cities and counties from removing homeless encampments unless the city or county can prove that a shelter was available to that person at the time. Now, opponents are worried it strips power away from cities and counties, leaving local communities to then deal with unchecked homelessness. For instance, last week, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson signed in an executive order to create a team to find the best way to expand shelter and housing for the homeless in Seattle. She also put the brakes on sweeping a homeless camp in the Ballard neighborhood.
People understandably might not want an encampment near their business or near their residence, but if we're moving people along without actually getting them inside, then they're just going to another place and then they're going to be back.
So under this proposed bill at the state level, when it comes to a camp like that one in Ballard, if a shelter in Seattle is available at the time, even if Mayor Wilson and her team created it with city money, a shelter would have to allow a homeless person's pets, partners, and personal belongings inside. And if it had any rules, like you have to be sober or you have to go into a treatment program, well, those things could disqualify that shelter from then being considered as an option. Supporters like the ACLU say the bill is actually about cities getting them and getting counties to stop treating the homeless like criminals. The bill, again, in committee right now. There's a hearing on the bill later this afternoon. And coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to have reaction from at least one advocacy group about that Ballard homeless camp and kind of tie it into where we are in this debate over this new possible state legislation.
Thanks, Luke. It was a chaotic scene in Tacoma this morning as police investigate a stabbing and an arson all at one home.
Officer Shelby Boyd says their team rushed to the scene in the 4000 block of South 34th Street about 4:30 this morning.
People started self-evacuating from the location, some out of upper windows. Everybody came out. We were able to identify 3 people who had suffered stab wounds. One of those 3 people also sustained burns from the fire.
They found their suspect 20 blocks away and believe that person is responsible for both the stabbings and the arson.
Let's check traffic now. Chris Sullivan is watching the roads.
It turns out we have a stall on westbound I-90 approaching the Mount Baker Tunnel. It's in the right-hand lane, and that's why we are bumper to bumper all the way back across Mercer Island, up to about 30 minutes now to go from Bellevue to Seattle on I-90. That is a 15-minute delay. 15 minutes sounds like a lot. Well, if you're on I-5, the delay is 30 to 35. If you're on 405, it's 25 to 30. That's our reality of not having the express lanes open southbound. For the morning commute, we have an hour and 35 to an hour and 40 from Everett to Seattle and about an hour and a half from Everett into Bellevue. Brake lights really begin in Linwood for 405, extend down through 522. For I-5, it starts right around 175th and extends all the way down to the Ship Canal Bridge. As for the actual direction of the construction across the Ship Canal Bridge, northbound, we just have a little bit of braking north of Mercer up to 520. The Federal Way to Seattle Drive running about an hour today, maybe a little under, so that's about 5 or 6 minutes faster than normal. An hour drive, Puyallup up to Renton with 35 of those minutes out of Auburn, and then Renton to Bellevue is about 35 minutes as well. There's slowing on northbound 5 into South Tacoma, eastbound 16, it's normal thing. So yeah, typical heavy Tuesday out there. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Live professional boxing is back. The main event, February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino. Main event powered by WFC, February 6th. February 6th. Only at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
You got it. Thick fog again this morning and tomorrow morning, but sunshine for the afternoon hours and a little bit cooler, only in the upper 40s. For Thursday, how about a high of just 44? Our sunny streak continues through the weekend. We're going to see partly cloudy skies both Saturday and Sunday. Look for some rain to return on Monday. Right now, it is foggy and right at the freezing mark in Seattle.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
And it's time for the 7:35 commentary. Usually, a student section is the loudest part of a game. But the gym at Tahoma High School in Maple Valley got quiet the other night, and it stayed that way. In the middle of a boys' basketball game, an administrator made a call you almost never see anymore. He cleared the student section, all of them. He sent them all home. Here's what happened. One kid in the crowd yelled at a referee. He didn't just boo, he dropped the F-bomb. "You effing suck," to the ref, loud enough for everyone to hear. So the school stopped the game, and they asked a simple question. Who said that? Silence. Hundreds of students sat there. They knew who did it. I'm sure it felt like solidarity to the kids in the stands. Snitches get stitches, right? But let's look at what actually happened. They decided to protect the bad apple. So the administrator made a choice. If you want to stand together as a mob and protect the behavior, you can all leave together. I read the comments on social media. Parents are upset. Students are furious. They're calling it unfair. They're calling it collective punishment. They are asking why good kids should lose out just because one knucklehead couldn't control his mouth. I get it. As a dad, if my teenager got kicked out of a game because the guy 3 rows back had 0 class, I'd be annoyed too. It feels like the teacher keeping the whole class from recess. Let's take a look at why this was such a shock to these kids. Because we've spent years tolerating bad behavior. We see it everywhere. We see it in the hallways. We see it on the streets. We see it in a juvenile justice system that often sends kids home with a warning for things that used to mean handcuffs. We have raised a generation of kids who believe they are anonymous. Some of them believe they can say whatever they want to an adult. They believe they can disrupt a public event. And they believe that if they just keep their mouths shut, the storm will blow over. Because usually it does. Then they went to a basketball game and they ran into an adult who wasn't bluffing. The school had already warned them. They put out video announcements 2 weeks ago about sportsmanship. Students knew the line. One of them crossed it. The rest of them decided that the no snitching code of silence was more important than the game. They made a choice. They dealt with the consequence. This is a tough lesson, but it is a necessary one. The shock these students felt wasn't because the punishment was cruel. It was because consequences were actually real. I wonder what happens at the next game. My guess is that the mood will be different. Next time someone thinks about screaming an obscenity at a ref, kid sitting next to him isn't going to laugh. He's going to tell him to sit down and shut up. That's called social pressure. That's how a healthy community works. We police ourselves so the authorities don't have to. We spend a lot of time trying to protect our kids from unfairness, but sometimes a little unfairness is the only thing that wakes us up. The bleachers were empty, but the message was full. We get what we accept. And Tahoma High School decided to stop accepting it. And that's a commentary for January 20th, 2026. You can always weigh in on our text line, 888-973-5476, or leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
7:39. What's coming up in traffic, Sully?
Take a guess.
I don't know, something about southbound I-5.
Southbound I-5 and southbound 405. Yeah, we'll break down the misery coming up next.
Charlie Harger with a commercial word here for you. If you have saved more than $300,000, you may have a big problem in retirement, and it's taxes. Taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, taxes on your Social Security benefits, taxes on your investment income, and more. When you add it all up, this could be your largest expense in retirement. That's why you need to get in front of this now. Discover the strategies that could significantly reduce your taxes with a free, customized retirement tax savings analysis. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions with 2 locations in Seattle. You can schedule your free analysis with Boss now by calling 206-210-1350. That's 206-210-1350. Don't overpay your taxes to the government. Call 206-210-1350.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No statement contained herein should constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Be there when the Seahawks make history. KIRO Newsradio is giving away 2 tickets to the NFC Championship game.
Oh, my word!
Sunday against LA at Lumen Field.
I can't tell you how pumped I am to see what the 12s bring.
Download the KIRO Newsradio app and click the Win tab to enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your odds.
This should be fun.
Enter daily now through Wednesday, January 21st. Contest rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
Well, the wet, chilly weather has certainly arrived. It's Mike Salk here, and if your attic and crawl space are well insulated, your home should be fine. Should feel cozy and warm without your furnace having to work overtime. But you'd be surprised to learn how many homes in Western Washington lack insulation in these spaces. It's why you call Crawl Pros. If you're feeling cold drafts or seeing that heating bill spike, now's a great time to learn if you got anything going on behind that crawl space or attic by calling Crawl Pros. They'll come out to your house just like they did to mine, do the corner-to-corner inspection. In my case, they found the problem, showed me the pictures, and then they got it all fixed. Now, if they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates that are available to help you get the work done correctly. Like if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could get a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost of the insulation job. If you're worried anything is going on in your crawl space or attic, including critters, water intrusion, mold, plumbing issues, anything, call Crawl Pros and schedule your free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
7:43. It's time to check traffic every 10 minutes on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
And we've settled into a typical Tuesday with the loss of the southbound I-5 express lanes. So we have a backup that begins on southbound 5 right around the the Edmonds exit and extends all the way down to the Ship Canal Bridge. We have about an hour and 40-minute trip from Everett into Seattle with about an hour and 20 of that out of Linwood. That is a 30 to 35 to 40-minute delay. And we've gotten quite used to that. 99 is now the window for that has closed. We're bumper to bumper from Northgate past the Green Lake area through the zoo all the way down into South Lake Union. So that's a no-go. A lot of people have gone to 405, and this is what we can expect for the next 5 months. Bumper to bumper from Linwood down through Bothell and now a little bit of further south. A little faster on 405. It's about an hour and a half total from Everett into Bellevue with an hour and 10 from Linwood. Looks like we have cleared the stall on westbound I-90 approaching the Mount Baker Tunnel across the lake. Still have a very heavy backup from almost 405 now across Mercer Island. Going to take a little bit for that to clear out. Got about 30 minutes from Bellevue to Seattle. 520 is wide open till you get to Montlake. Northbound 405, about 40 minutes now. Nothing you can't handle. Kind of an average day for you guys. Valley Freeway thick out of Auburn, but we've actually picked up 5 or 6 minutes. Back under 30 minutes from Auburn and just under an hour from Puyallup. A lot of heavy braking on westbound 18, though, getting up to I-5. I-5 is running about an hour, about an average day for you guys, maybe a little under. Brake lights heavy out of the Federal Way area. And then from the West Seattle Bridge on in. West Seattle Bridge itself in the eastbound direction, a little thick, but by most day standards, about average. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
Our forecast, very chilly start to the day. We're going to see fog, dense fog in spots again, headed for a high of 49, some sunshine by afternoon. Tomorrow looks pretty much the same. And then on Thursday, a partly cloudy day, only 44 for the high. Through the weekend, we're going to see partly cloudy skies both for Saturday and game day Sunday. Look for some rain to arrive on Monday. Right now it's foggy and 32 in Seattle.
Speaking of game day, Seahawks are headed to that NFC Championship, and we have 2 tickets to give away. It is the final game of the season at Lumen Field. Hopefully not the last game of the year for the Hawks. Just open the KIRO Newsradio app. You click the Win tab to find out how to enter. If you don't have the app, you just text app to 888-973-5476. We will send you a download link. You can enter today, and you can enter tomorrow as well to improve your chances. Enter now only on the KIRO Newsradio app.
It's now 7:46. Democratic Representative Mari Levitt will join us to talk about what's happening this legislative session. That's next on Seattle's Morning News.
What a good move I made. Let me tell you a quick story. I've done a whole bunch of races and a bunch of other stuff like that, and my left hip started bothering me about 5 years ago. And I go to the doctor, and he's like, you need a hip replacement. I was like, I'm 60. Yeah, we're going to ask you to wait a little while because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to go into the grave at the same time. I said, what do you do about all this pain? Well, you could, aspirin, and you could continue to do this and that and, sleep with a pillow between your legs. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Then I was talking to Bob Stelton over there at the sports department. So he went to Dr. Mark Wagner, and I think he had his hip done as well. So I go in there. I said to Dr. Wagner, can you fix my hip? Takes a look at the MRI. Yes. So I got the stem cell procedure. I'm telling you something. This is the best. If you've been thinking about, surgery for your knee, your wrist, your shoulder, or hip. No. Check out Dr. Mark Wagner and go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our clearance savings spectacular, and you don't want to miss it. We're slashing prices on all 2025 hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models ready for delivery. And here's the best part, 0% interest financing through 2031. That's right, no interest for 5 years. Ends January 25th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Right now, save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same-as-cash financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Thanks for being with us this morning. There's a manhunt underway in Portland right now after 2 police officers were shot last night.
KOIN TV reports the officers were called to the Lloyd district just after 8 o'clock to investigate a knife threat. When they arrived, someone shot them. One officer was reportedly hit in the leg, the other in the arm and ear. Both are in stable condition. Nearly 90 units responded to search for the shooter. No arrests have been made.
It's now 7:49 on Seattle's Morning News. We are just over a week into the 2026 legislative session. State lawmakers already busy debating bills. Let's hear from one of those lawmakers, Democratic Representative Mari Levitt.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. How would you characterize the session so far?
Brutal. I feel like I'm in the middle of session and it's only week 2.
Yeah, and this is, you have another 7-8 weeks in front of you. You are sponsoring a bunch of bills this year. I want to touch on a topic where I brought you up, Representative Levitt, in a recent commentary. You are trying to crack down on retail theft. You brought a lot of people together to talk about it. Where do things stand?
Yeah, so we have a hearing on our retail theft bill. I introduced House Bill 1276 last year, and over the interim worked with prosecutors, stores, retail professionals, loss prevention professionals, and over the course of that work, changed the bill up a little bit, so I had to drop a new bill because the title didn't quite fit the changes. And today we have a hearing this afternoon in the House Community Safety Committee meeting at 4 o'clock. So looking forward to the conversation and engaging on really it's a public safety crisis of retail theft in Washington.
Also wanted to bring up Republican Representative Travis Couture. He is proposing amendments this session to the Keeping Families Together Act. I have reported extensively on this, including a story where a boy was in a tent with his parents who were smoking fentanyl, all sorts of stuff going on right in front of him. Curious your thoughts on adapting the Keeping Families Together Act, and should fentanyl be in use in front of a child be considered putting that child in imminent danger?
I think so. And I've signed on to Travis's, or Rep. Couture's rather, bill, although I did tell him when I signed on that the language that he proposed in the original draft is nowhere near it needs to be. And so I didn't necessarily agree with all of the language in his bill, but I agreed with the concept that we need to have the conversation and discussion. In fact, I introduced House Bill 1159, and we often talk about his bill and my bill being the bookends, the beginning and the end. So his is in the prevention sector, and mine is when there's near death or death of a child. And so for me, leaving fentanyl out or tranq or any other controlled substance for a child is like leaving a loaded gun on a coffee table. You know, we're going to take that very seriously. If a parent is being reckless with a firearm around a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old, and unfortunately, we're losing children to fentanyl and other controlled substances, but primarily fentanyl and tranq. And as a result, our kids are dying or they're near deaths. And there have been several instances. I represent the 28th Legislative District, which is in Pierce County, and there have been several instances talking to the prosecutors of children who are being impacted. So we need to adjust that law in a very precision kind of way, because I think the spirit of the law and the intent of the law is good. But we need to, when it comes to, keeping our children safe, which is our paramount duty, we need to do more. And I'm hopeful that we can make strides this session to do so.
We're almost out of time already, but I wanted to ask and just back it up a little bit. It's only week 2 of the session. Why was your answer brutal?
Because it's a manic pace. It's a 60-day session versus a 105-day session, so things move more rapidly. But at the same speed, we often have the same number of bills, not always, but generally. And so it's just a rapid pace. Also, we're down $4 billion, and so trying to figure out what that looks like for Washingtonians, and also what the federal government choices have, what kind of impact they'll have on Washingtonians, whether it's in healthcare, education, and on and on and on. And so as we navigate that space, it's going to be a very difficult session.
All right. Well, wish we had more time. It is good checking in with you, Democratic Representative Mari Levitt. Best of luck. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care. We need to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Sully, your turn.
And we keep adding 10 minutes to our drive out of the Snohomish County area as we work our way with life without the express lanes. Open in the southbound direction. It's up to an hour and 50 minutes now from Everett to Seattle. An hour and a half of that is from Linwood. That is a 40-minute delay as you work your way down from about 175th bumper to bumper all the way into downtown. 99 southbound is bumper to bumper from before Green Lake all the way down into South Lake Union. Lake City Way caught up in this as well. So big time delays there. A lot of people have headed over to 405, and so that's created about an hour and 15-minute trip from Linwood to Bellevue, an hour and 35 to from Everett. That's about a 30-minute delay for you guys, and both directions of 522 are very heavy approaching 405 just because you're driving into that backup. We have cleared the stall westbound I-90 at the Mount Baker Tunnel, but we still have a 30-minute trip to get across the lake. Pretty heavy across Mercer Island. 520 is a little bit better, but then you're driving into the backup for the northbound 405 lane closures across the Ship Canal Bridge. We do have a northbound backup of about 15 minutes now. Federal Way to Seattle, about an hour. We have about an hour Puyallup to Renton, and 40 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Forecast calls for fog until the mid-afternoon. Should be sunny later. High of 50 degrees. Right now in Seattle, we have cloudy skies, and it's 34.
One win away from the Super Bowl.
You stacked plays. It started with a 95-yard. Shaheed to the end zone. Holy crap! fish.
We play our style of play. Games can look like this often.
The table is set for the NFC Championship game. Sunday at Lumen Field against the Rams. Kickoff at 3:30.
Job's not done.
We're going to do the same thing.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle and the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
We live here in Washington. I travel all over the state for work.
Affordable short-term rentals help us stay together and make Hazel feel at home.
Now Olympia is considering a huge tax increase on short-term rentals,
pricing us and other families out, since more than half of short-term rentals here are used by Washingtonians.
Costs on everything are going up.
Please tell legislators not to make our trips more expensive too.
Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive. Host PAC.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. Northwest News.
It's clogged again.
Your drain?
Just had it cleared.
You didn't call Apollo Plumbing.
How can you tell?
Because your drain's clogged again.
So frustrating.
We can clear that drain.
That's what the last guy said.
We'll clear it, guaranteed.
He said that too.
Apollo Plumbing will clear your drain, or it's free.
Wait, what?
Apollo Plumbing clears your drain.
Or it's free?
Yep.
What's the catch?
No catch.
Fine print?
Apollo Plumbing clears your main drain for $83.
83 or it's free?
And we'll even give you a camera inspection.
Because?
It's the best way to find what's causing your clog.
But that's extra.
Nope. Included.
No extra charge?
Not 1 cent.
83 or it's free.
All it takes is an accessible outside cleanout.
And an Apollo plumber.
No clog is safe from Apollo Plumbing.
And just like that, my main drain is...
draining again.
How can you...
Apollo plumbers are that good.
83 or it's free.
You call, we come.
My drain's draining again.
Guaranteed.
83 or it's free.
As it should be.
Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. U.S. allies are caught up in the Trump push to get U.S. control of Greenland just ahead of a global economic forum. CBS's Aaron Navarro.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte seems to want to de-escalate, saying in a text that he is committed to finding a way forward on Greenland. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron texted President Trump, quote, "I don't understand what you are doing in Greenland." EU countries will hold an emergency summit in Brussels on Thursday to talk about all of this. And President Trump himself said last night he has agreed to a meeting later this week with the relevant European countries in Davos.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk. As a result of President Trump's threat to impose 10% tariffs on the 8 nations that continue to support Denmark's sovereignty over Greenland, the EU is scrapping what would have been a landmark transatlantic trade deal. Instead, the allies may now revive their mothballed threat to impose $100 billion worth of retaliatory tariffs on American goods sold to the EU.
The U.S. is set to host some of the world's biggest sporting events over the next few years, including soccer's World Cup and the Summer Olympics. But CBS's Stacey Lynn reports a new proposal could change who fills the seats.
But DHS is proposing a new rule that would require travelers from visa-free allied countries to submit additional personal data, including up to 5 years of social media history. Critics tell the Washington Post the measure could discourage tourism without significantly improving security.
Well, dozens of beaches in eastern Australia are closed after 4 shark attacks over a 48-hour period. CBS's Michael Wallace.
In the latest attack Tuesday, about 300 miles north of Sydney, a surfer suffered minor cuts when a shark bit his surfboard. Closer to Sydney, separate attacks left a boy in critical condition and a man in stable condition. Another boy escaped unharmed when a shark knocked him off his surfboard.
The New York City nurses' strike against several hospitals is into its second week, with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders on the picket line to show support.
The people of America love and appreciate our nurses. And today we say to those hospitals, sit down and negotiate a decent contract.
On the Health Watch, a research team studied 11 million births over a 20-year period as many communities in the U.S. began adding fluoride to the water. Columbia University's Matt Needell.
We didn't find evidence to support any changes in birth outcomes, either in birth weight or gestational length.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down about 500 points. The S&P is down 75. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
8:03 now. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan at the traffic desk.
And we are struggling big time coming out of the north end as we continue to work with life without the express lanes. We have an hour and 50-minute trip from Everett to Seattle, an hour and 40 from Everett to Bellevue. So for 30 to 40-minute delays, all of that away from Linwood, where it's about an hour and a half from Linwood to Seattle and about an hour and 20 from Linwood to Bellevue. The brake lights for 405 start right there at Linwood and extend down through 522, have a little bit of gap, and then you hit them in Totem Lake again. Southbound I-5 is just a bumper-to-bumper grind, 8 miles from basically 195th all the way down to the Ship Canal Bridge. Across the lake, we have really heavy braking on westbound 520 because you're driving into the actual construction zone, which is northbound I-5 right there at the Ship Canal Bridge. We still have the 2 left lanes blocked, and we have about a 15-minute delay getting out of the city heading north. Backup begins right around Mercer. Across the lake, we're heavy across Mercer Island. We had an earlier stall near the Mount Baker Tunnel. You need about 30 minutes for either one of the lake bridges. Federal Way to Seattle is running right about an hour. Rented to Bellevue about 40. Valley Freeway just under an hour. And a little bit of braking into South Tacoma, a little bit more than we normally see, but I think that's just volume and fog. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Save $600 off windows, $1,500 off doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Enjoy 12 months, same as cash financing. Don't wait. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
8:04 on the Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
A bill getting its first hearing this afternoon in Olympia would make it much harder for cities and counties statewide to clear homeless encampments.
That includes available shelters requiring sobriety or treatment. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here with the story.
Now, Charlie, it is House Bill 2489, and it is creating controversy, and it still has a lot of hoops to jump through before it even becomes law. Here's what Andrea Suarez, the director of We Heart Seattle, recently said about a decision made by Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson last week to push pause on sweeping a homeless camp in the city's Ballard neighborhood.
This, from my perspective, will be a tragedy if these camps continue to stay. They are open-air drug scenes. I can hear the foil now. I can hear the clicking of torches. There's squalid living conditions. There's rodents. It's right here on the bike trail.
So using that as an example, opponents of this House bill say it would take a lot of Wilson's decision-making away from her about any camp, including the one in Ballard, because it would prevent any city from removing that homeless camp unless the city can prove that a shelter was available at the time of that decision-making. Wilson also just signed an executive order to rapidly expand shelter and housing for the homeless in the city in order to, as she likes to say, bring people inside. Well, this bill could impact that policy as well. Even if there is a shelter available, if the shelter has rules like you have to be sober or you can only enter if you take part in a treatment program inside, well, this bill says those requirements could disqualify the shelter from even being considered. It also protects a wide range of activities on public property, including sleeping and protecting personal belongings from the weather. What that means or could mean is for homeless camps, they could put up tarps, larger tents, larger makeshift shelters for themselves. Charlie and Amanda, supporters of this bill, like the ACLU, say, this is really about getting cities to stop treating homeless like criminals and getting them the best support available. Again, opponents say that's not it at all. There is a hearing on this House bill, again, 2489 this afternoon in Olympia.
Thank you, Luke. The so-called Driver Privacy Act gets its first hearing in Olympia this morning.
Senate Bill 6002 would put regulations on automated license plate readers, commonly known as flock cameras. Most of the time, the data is retained for 30 days, but this bill would shorten the window to 72 hours. The ACLU of Washington supports that, saying the strongest way to protect data from falling into the wrong hands is to make sure it's deleted regularly and as soon as possible. But the Association of Washington Cities says that shorter time window may hamper some criminal investigations. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he has no regrets. Speaking to KIRO News Radio's John Curley, Swank responded to a state law enforcement group's move to potentially kick him out.
Everything I say, I stand by, or I wouldn't say it. I'm not saying to be cocky. I'm just saying I think about these things before I say it. I've been preparing my whole life for this position, and I stand by what I said.
Swank testified last week against a Senate bill that sets stricter rules for people to serve as sheriffs. He believes it's designed to root out conservative sheriffs. He also criticized a measure to ban law enforcement from wearing masks. The Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs called Swank's remarks inflammatory.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
One of the best voices in all of music, just my humble opinion.
Michael McDonald.
Awesome.
He is the voice. Isn't that what they call him? Isn't he also the coach of the Seahawks, too?
Yes, multi-talented guy.
Yacht Rock and Seahawks. All right. It's 8:08 on Seattle's Morning News. Thanks for being here today. Guys, did you see the Northern Lights last night? Did anyone stay up late enough?
I have seen some amazing pictures.
I stayed up late enough, and I did not see anything.
Did you look?
I'm always looking.
I looked. I stayed up late enough, and I looked, and I saw nothing.
Well, when I went to bed at 6:30, it was there was nothing out there, and it was foggy this morning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is Seattle's Morning News. Coming up this hour of the show, we get a legislative update from Jake Goldstein-Street from the Washington State Standard.
Also, G. Scott's going to stop by with an update on a big injury for the Seahawks.
8:09 now. 3 people are in the hospital, one with life-threatening injuries, after a stabbing and a fire in Tacoma.
Officer Shelby Boyd says responders got there just after 4:30 to find people jumping out of windows to escape the smoke and flames.
We put out information on the suspect, and officers were able to locate them around 20 blocks from the location. Initially, the adult male fled on foot, but gave up shortly thereafter.
They believe that man stabbed people in the home and then set fire in one of the bedrooms. Officer Boyd says detectives will be on scene for some time trying to piece together more of what happened.
One person is dead after a stolen car slammed into a power pole at more than 100 miles an hour. This happened over the weekend in Tacoma.
A state trooper tried to stop a stolen car early Sunday morning at southbound SR 509 and Port of Tacoma Road. They say the driver took off and lost control, crashing near 21st and Pacific. They say the car was going about 110 miles an hour when it hit the pole. Including the driver, there were 3 people in the car. The front seat passenger died. Another person in the back seat was badly hurt, as was the driver, who faces several charges, including vehicular homicide. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A fire chief in Southwest Washington is facing serious charges. Prosecutors say Jeffrey Archer is accused of abusing 4 young boys. Police believe it happened at his home in Ocean Park between 2013 and 2019. According to the Seattle Times, deputies arrested Archer January 9th and booked him into the Pacific County Jail. He's now on leave, and Ilwaco has named an interim chief.
Seattle could soon change the look of Gasworks Park. City leaders are considering removing ladders, stairs, and platforms from the old towers. Seattle Park says it's about safety after repeated injuries, even deaths. Towers were never meant for climbing and aren't structurally sound. Como TV reports the Landmarks Preservation Board will review the proposal tomorrow afternoon. Critics argue removing those features would change the park's character. A decision could come this week.
Let's get back to Mike McDonald, shall we? Seahawks head coach says Zach Charbonnet faces a long road back after a knee injury ended his season. McDonald broke the news on Brock and Salk on 710 Seattle Sports.
Breaks your heart. He's going to need surgery, so he's going to be out for. He's got a good long road to come back.
Torn ACL. He says the rookie is tough as nails and a model teammate, adding, quote, "It just hurts that it's going on."
And hundreds packed Garfield High School yesterday to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The gym was standing room only for the 97th birthday celebration. By noon, families had filled the bleachers, crowded the entrance. Community members gathered for speeches, music, and calls for justice and peace. According to the Seattle Times, nearly 500 people marched 2 miles to downtown Seattle, carried signs, and chanted for immigrant rights, workers' rights, and democracy.
It's 8:12. That's time for a check on the weather. And for that, we check in with KIRO 7's Nick Allard.
Widespread fog and low clouds this morning, but we will see some clearing. I think it'll start by lifting the fog into a low cloud deck by, say, midday or so, and then some sunshine increasing for the afternoon. Highs are going to be in the upper 40s, but fog is dense and it's cold, so there may be a few slick spots. You're going to have to scrape your windshield, but then we'll get to about 48, 49 or so this afternoon with sunshine, but probably not till after about 3 o'clock or so. Then tomorrow, some morning fog, afternoon sun. Thursday's a little bit different in that we have some clouds that are more widespread, because you may even see a sprinkle or two, but that's probably all we'd see. Friday and Saturday and Sunday also look dry, including for the Hawks game, before we maybe see a little bit of rain by Monday. So I don't see much between now and then. Just a lot of fog each morning, some sun in the afternoon, and rain holding off through the NFC Championship victory, I hope, and then rain for Monday.
We hope too. It's foggy and 32 in Seattle right now.
8:13, best time to head to traffic with Chris Sullivan.
And if you're leaving the Everett area right now, you won't make it to Seattle until about 10 o'clock. Let that settle in. It's an hour and 50-minute proposition to make the drive. You're going to have a nice, easy drive from Everett down to about 195th and Shoreline. And then it's going to be a bumper-to-bumper grind for 8 or 9 miles all the way into downtown. It's an hour and a half alone just from Linwood, maybe a little bit more. A lot of people have gone over to 405, Everett to Bellevue, hour and a half, hour and 15 from Linwood. And again, this is just the result of not having the express lanes open in the southbound direction during the morning commute. What we have is 99 being bumper-to-bumper from Green Lake all the way down into South Lake Union. And because the express lanes are open in the northbound direction, there's no forced merge into downtown, and so the Federal Way to Seattle Drive is actually running under an hour and about 5 or 6 minutes faster than normal. What isn't is westbound I-520. It's bumper to bumper from basically Medina all the way over to I-5, where you drive into that construction zone. Over 30 minutes on both 520 and I-90 to go from Bellevue to Seattle. So significant delays there. As for the construction zone itself, getting across the Ship Canal Bridge, we have the brake lights beginning right around Mercer. About a 15-minute delay to get out of downtown, heading north up into the U District. Rented to Bellevue, we've got about a 40-minute trip. Valley Freeway's back under an hour. And it looks like we're working with a crash on westbound I-90 before you get to kind of the west end of Issaquah. Very heavy, backed up now to the Highlands, working your way through downtown. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Every Tuesday, we call up New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold to analyze all the big national stories of the week. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
All right, Greenland, go. What's new this morning?
Well, this is the week of Davos, this gathering in Switzerland every winter where business executives and national leaders come together. And Trump is sort of turning it into kind of like bringing this Greenland crisis to a head. So he has said he's going to go there. A bunch of Trump people are going to go there next week. A bunch of the European leaders are going to be there. He said, he wants Greenland one way or the other. So I think they're throwing out the things they usually talk about and just focusing on some kind of off-ramp for this. I think European countries have sent soldiers to Greenland, and it's an extraordinary thing, basically to fight us if we try to take it by force. And so I think they're trying to find something that will satisfy Trump short of just letting him take one of their biggest properties. I don't think that he's going to be satisfied with that, but who knows? And it's sort of hard to read Trump, but I don't think this is one of those situations where he acts crazy because he's just looking for more leverage and a more normal deal. It seems like he really, really wants this thing and won't settle for anything less.
What are you hearing from analysts who are basically saying NATO is over now?
I think that's an overstatement. NATO would certainly suffer a huge blow if we somehow took Greenland from the Danes, who are an important NATO partner. Would that mean that we would just forget about NATO and the Europeans would abandon us? I don't think so. I mean, Europe for decades has based its entire government on the idea that we would protect them. That's why they spend so little on defense. And for them to say, like, hey, you took Greenland, forget security guarantees dealing with the high Arctic where Greenland is, to satisfy what he says are his reasons for wanting Greenland, which is to protect it from the Russians and the Chinese. I don't know if that's going to work. He seems really, really fixated on the idea that he's going to just have it, right? It has to be American. There's only one way to do this, and that's to have it be American-owned. You talk about sort of the psychological value of having it be ours. So I don't know if that's going to work, but that's certainly what the hope is, to try to find some off-ramp.
That is New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold joining us earlier this morning.
We are just over a week into the 2026 legislative session, and lawmakers are already busy debating bills and presenting proposals.
Jake Goldstein Street writes for the Washington State Standard, covering everything happening in Olympia. He joins us now. Jake, I'm a longtime listener, first-time caller. Thanks for joining us today. Let's maybe talk first about Governor Ferguson's proposed budget cuts. Where do things stand with that?
Sure. So we're in a 60-day legislative session. Like you said, we're about a week in, so it's very early stages. He proposed his budget the end of last month. He's working with about a $2.3 billion shortfall here in the second year of our two-year budget cycle. And he's got a variety of cuts here. The biggest way that he plans to fill that shortfall is through tapping the state's rainy day fund. There's using proceeds from our state's climate auctions through the Climate Commitment Act to pay for the working families tax credit for the first time, which is seen as a sort of quasi-cut to climate funding in the state. And then there's a variety of other cuts. There are very little new revenue to fill that shortfall. You've obviously probably heard that the governor supports an income tax on millionaires, people earning over $1 million. But the state wouldn't be able to tap that funding even if it passed the legislature, passed a likely ballot measure, passed through the state Supreme Court. You probably wouldn't be seeing that money hitting state coffers until 2029. And so the state still needs to fill a shortfall in the short term. Obviously, what the governor is proposing is just a proposal. Lawmakers, Democrats in the state House and Senate will release their proposals in probably late February after the state hears its latest forecast for its revenue, which might see a bump and might help a little bit and require less cuts, but that still remains to be seen. So there'll be a lot of action on this in the next couple months.
How are people on both sides reacting to the Gov's proposal?
It's pretty uniformly negative. Anytime you've got cuts to some services, you're not going to have a lot of people cheering. And so environmentalists are not happy about, like I said, using Climate Commitment Act dollars for non-climate use, even though that's a use that's allowed in the law. And then you've got negativity from colleges because he's proposing a 3% reduction in funding for Washington State and the University of Washington, 1.5% cuts for technical colleges. And so there's a lot of negativity around what he's proposing, as I'm sure he expected.
Jake, let's move on to some of the bills being discussed this week. You wrote up a piece on HB 1834, basically protecting young people from dangers on social media. What does this legislation include?
Sure. So this is a bill that was around last year. It passed the state Senate before stalling in the House. And it would look to tackle the issue of safety online for children in a couple ways. I mean, the main one is banning these so-called addictive feeds. These are the things, when you're on Instagram or TikTok and you can just scroll forever and keep finding new content that really can grab you. This is in response to data we have even at a state level showing that social media for some kids increases anxiety. It can lead to worse sleep. And then another way, it tries to remove those push notifications that you get on your phones or other device overnight or during school hours. And so that's one way that the state is looking to tackle this issue of youth dealing with social media.
How are social media and tech companies responding?
Sure. So obviously they're not thrilled about it. They raise First Amendment concerns that this is restricting speech. They would like to see it tackled in other ways, either through more of digital literacy, training parents on how to guide their young children online, those sorts of things, instead of sort of this, what they see as a heavy-handed approach in this proposal.
We're also keeping our eyes on House Bill 2489. It would block cities from enforcing anti-camping laws unless they can prove shelter was available. It's getting a hearing this afternoon. What are you hearing about this?
Yeah, so that's been a hot-button issue, obviously, for a few years after a state Supreme Court decision on this issue. So that'll definitely be one that I think lawmakers have made a priority, trying to do something on this, because Democrats largely disagree with the way the state Supreme Court went on these public camping bans. And then you've seen kind of a patchwork of laws across different cities to try to deal with this issue. And so it'll definitely be one to watch.
Before we let you go, Jake, last hour we spoke with Representative Mari Levitt, and she described this session so far as brutal. Is that pretty typical of these 60-day sessions because they have to fit so much in?
I would say so. They are really fast-paced, pretty breakneck, but I think this one is going to be particularly brutal, to use her word, given that the state is trying to deal with a budget issue and trying to do it in just 60 days. And having to make pretty difficult decisions on what to cut because there's very little room to maneuver to raise new revenue, like I said, in the second year of a budget. And so that's what you're going to hear from any lawmaker. Will tell you this is going to be a really tough session.
All right. Jake Goldstein Street, longtime legislative reporter writing for the Washington State Standard, WashingtonStateStandard.com. Jake, always appreciate talking to you and look forward to talking you throughout the session with you.
Yeah, good to talk with you. Thanks.
Thanks so much. It is 8:23. We need to get to traffic, and for that, here's Sully.
Yeah, we're actually picking up the pace a little bit, which has become kind of the norm around 8:15, 8:30-ish on our weekdays out of the north end, where we kind of pass the peak of that hour and 50-minute trip from Everett to Seattle. We're back down to about an hour and 40-minute from Everett to Seattle, which I know is still awful. 30-minute delay, big time, from about 175th now down across the Ship Canal Bridge. And we're back down to about an hour and a half from Everett to Bellevue, which is about a 25-minute delay with the brake lights there away from Linwood. So we're kind of at that point where things start getting a little bit better. 99's breaking free a little bit before Green Lake, but then from Green Lake all the way into downtown South Lake Union is going to be pretty rough. Westbound across the 520 corridor, you're going to be on the brakes before you even get to Medina, really, before the tolling equipment, if you could believe it, all the way into downtown. So that's about a 35-minute trip on the 520, about 30 minutes on I-90. The reason you're driving right into the Ship Canal Bridge closure for the actual construction zone, which is northbound. We have about a 10-minute delay now getting through that. Brake lights begin northbound out of downtown around Mercer and head up past the Ship Canal Bridge construction zone before breaking free. Rented to Bellevue, about a 40-minute trip for you guys. Valley Freeway, back under an hour, 45, make that 55 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Heavy fog westbound on I-90 getting into and through Issaquah. Right lane blocked just west of Front Street, and we're backed up to the Highlands. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Live professional boxing back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen. Main event powered by WFC February 6th only at the Emerald Queen, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Be there when the Seahawks make history. Hello! KIRO Newsradio's giving away 2 tickets to the NFC Championship game.
Oh, my word!
Sunday against LA at Lumen Field.
I can't tell you how pumped I am to see what the 12s bring.
Download the KIRO Newsradio app and click the Win tab to enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your odds.
This should be fun.
Enter daily now through Wednesday, January 21st. Contest rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
Good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
It's the Clearance Savings Spectacular at Olympic Hot Tub. We're slashing prices on hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models. Plus, no interest through 2031. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Say goodbye to clogged gutters and climbing ladders. With K-Guard by Guardian, leaves stay out, water flows freely, and your home stays protected year-round. Enjoy true peace of mind. No maintenance and no rust. Choose from a variety of colors to match your home's look and boost your curb appeal. Ready for hassle-free gutters? Protect what matters most with Guardian, the original make your roof last company. Visit GuardianRoofing.com to learn more.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Guys, your New Year goals start now. Get limited time savings on our most popular treatments at Revive Men's Health. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to see if you qualify to save hundreds.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 8:31. The cities across Washington could soon lose much of their ability to clear homeless encampments.
It's a bill up for its first hearing in Olympia this afternoon. It could also disqualify shelters that require sobriety or treatment.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
Yeah, the bill is still in committee, and it's already creating waves across the state. House Bill 2489 would prevent cities and counties from removing homeless camps unless that city or county can prove that a shelter was available at the time. Of course, a lot of cities are trying to figure out their best policies when it comes to homeless camps. Last week, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson put the brakes on sweeping a controversial homeless camp in the Ballard neighborhood.
People understandably might not want an encampment near their business or near their residence, but if we're moving people along without actually getting them inside, then they're just going to another place and then they're going to be back.
So using that example with this bill, under this proposed bill, if Mayor Wilson wanted to clear the camp, which she says that she will do in certain cases, if a shelter was not available according to state law, well, she couldn't clear the camp. If people were, though, moved into shelters, that shelter would have to allow their pets to come inside as well, their partners and all their personal belongings. However, if the shelter had rules like you have to be sober inside the shelter or you have to go into some kind of treatment program that they offer while you're there, well, those things could disqualify that shelter from being considered under this bill. Opponents of the bill worry that it would take away power from cities and counties to manage homelessness. Supporters for the bill, like the ACLU, say the bill is actually about getting cities to stop treating the homeless like criminals, getting them the support that they need. Last week, Mayor Wilson also signed an executive order to rapidly expand shelter and housing for the homeless in Seattle. That bill this bill from the state could actually impact that executive order as well. We'll see where this goes. It's in committee. There's a hearing today, this afternoon. Charlie and Amanda, a lot of controversy ahead for this bill.
Okay, keep us updated, Luke. Blue fever is real, but if you want to scratch that itch at Lumen Field Sunday, it's going to cost you.
KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Ottley has been tracking Seahawks ticket prices.
It's electric in here.
I want to go again, but it's crazy.
KIRO 7 reviewed prices across 4 major ticket sites. We saw seats starting around $830 up to a few $1,000.
It's the hottest thing we've seen.
And James Kimmel, CEO of locally owned Epic Seats, doesn't expect that demand will fall.
Because there's such a strong interest locally, the day of, ticket prices can actually go up.
Watch out for scams, too. Buy directly from official sources. And if not, do your research on who you're buying from.
I know it's only Tuesday, but is it Sunday at 3:30?
No, be patient.
Patience is not my strong point.
Good things come to those who wait.
Okay.
You know who we can't wait any longer for?
Probably Chris Sullivan, because it's time for traffic.
Yep, and you know who's waiting a lot?
Everybody.
Everybody on southbound 5 and southbound 405. Life without the express lanes, not easy in the southbound direction. The travel time, still about 25 to 35 minutes behind schedule, depending on whether you're on 5 or 405. I-5, the brake lights begin in Shoreline, extend all the way down through the Ship Canal Bridge. For I-405, they start right there in Linwood, go through Bothell, and kind of work their way down into Totem Lake. 99 southbound, not great. Lake City Way caught up in this. So are the southbound streets through the U District. Westbound 520 caught up in this, but the travel time getting a little bit better. It's now from about the middle of the lake over. Still about 30 minutes from Bellevue to Seattle on either Lake Bridge. Through the actual construction zone on northbound I-5 there at the Ship Canal Bridge, we have about a 10-minute delay getting out of downtown. Federal Way to Seattle, under an hour, probably closer to 55 minutes. That's about 10 minutes faster than normal. Valley Freeway is clearing out back under an hour, and Renton to Bellevue about 40 minutes. Still dealing with this crash on the right lane. It looks like just west of Front Street in Issaquah. Heavy fog there, heavy braking around the corner from Highlands. So big delays into and through Issaquah. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the app, listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
Fog and clouds this morning. It'll burn off mid-afternoon. A high of 49 is forecast for Seattle today. Same sort of deal tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, but remains dry even for the NFC Championship game, 3:30 on Sunday in Seattle. Right now...
Is it time yet?
It is not time yet. Patience, Manda. Patience. Right now in Seattle, it's 34.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, Governor Ferguson wants to add $1 billion to the transportation budget to address the aging ferry fleet. As riders know, the ferry system is operating on a razor-thin margin.
And it's time to check in with Sully with a look at the realities of the fleet.
Yeah, basically, we're hanging on by chewing gum, tape, and good intentions. And that's been the case for years as our boats get older and older, and we have mechanical issues knocking a few boats out of service. Right now, we have 18 boats available on the water or thereabouts, which is considered full capacity. But we had a few mechanical issues, and so we've had boat shuffling and delays, and people really understand that the system is fragile, but I'm not sure they realize just how much. The ferry's John Vizina spoke with the legislature last week, kind of spelling out how bad it is. I don't know a lot about boats, but they have shelf lives. I guess it makes sense in the private sector. Boats or ships, I want you to think like cruise lines, things like that, are retired much faster than our ferries are.
Boats are kept in service for 20, 25 years. Ours are expected to last for 60.
So double that plus 10. Is what our boats are expected to survive. That means a lot of extra money to keep them in service, and our state ferry fleet is ridiculously old. The oldest boat is 67 years old. The others?
5 of those vessels are over 50 years old, and 5 are over 40. So 11 of our 21 vessel fleet is beyond the vessel lifespan that most maritime organizations would operate their vessels.
The average age of our boats is 35. Again, 10 to 15 years older than the maritime industry standard for keeping boats like this in operation. The legislature, of course, has not done a good job of funding new vessels as the boats have aged. They have made other priorities over the last 25 or 30 years. And of course, if we have a little history lesson, there was a bidding process to build new boats that it was so out of whack that the state had to start it over. They just scrapped it after a couple of years. Only one shipyard bid, and the cost was way over budget. So that kind of set us behind. That's why the legislature chose to open up boat building contracts to out-of-state companies. And that's where we sit right now with a deal to build 3 new electric hybrids. But the first one won't be ready till 2030.
By the time we get our new vessels in 2030, between 2000 and 2030, we will have built 7 vessels in 30 years. It's hard to maintain a ferry service at that pace.
And a lot of people have been asking over the last couple of years, is there any way to speed this up? I mean, for example, can we quickly build some of the older design diesel boats like the ones we have out on the water today? Republican State Senator Phil Fortunato brought that up.
If we were to mix in some diesels, could we get more vehicles or more boats online sooner? In other words, if we were to say, hey, we're going to do 3 diesels and keep the hybrid electric, could those diesels get online sooner?
The ferry service of Vizina says no. The reason the plans for those diesel boats don't exist.
The propulsion systems for those vessels, the manufacturer no longer makes them. So we couldn't just continue building those vessels.
The state would have to start building those diesel boats from scratch, and the timeline to build them is close to what it would take for the hybrids.
We are very confident in saying that we are on the fastest path, and that diverting to start building diesel would actually slow things down because of the process we'd need to create that design.
Not that I'm Captain Hindsight, but perhaps maybe 20 or 30 years ago, we probably should have looked at these things in the legislature instead of a lot of the things that we do. But again, that's Captain Hindsight. That's where our ferry system sits. And of course, there's no guarantee the lawmakers will give Governor Ferguson that $1 billion because lawmakers don't like the funding source. As we talked about last week with maintenance and preservation, they don't want to raise the money by bonding against our gas tax revenue because they feel that kind of ties you in and loses flexibility. So they've got some very difficult questions to answer and decisions to make, as we heard in a very short and frenetic session that is going to be what? Brutal, right? Is that what our lawmakers said?
Yeah, that was the word.
Yeah, lots of big issues. And so in other words, we're finally, the chickens have come home for the legislative decisions over the last 25 years.
Okay, I guess we can all blame Governor Mike Lowry.
Well, no, I put this more at the lawmaker decisions than some of the governors. But let's face it, some of our governors have not been great about this either.
All right, Sully, I'm imagining we're going to talk about the mess on I-5.
Well, of course. How would you know? It's not like it's predictable. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the hour and a half to hour and 40-minute trips coming down out of the north end. We'll break it down next.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
We live here in Washington. I travel all over the state for work.
Affordable short-term rentals help us stay together and make Hazel feel at home.
Now Olympia is considering a huge tax increase on short-term rentals,
pricing us and other families out, since more than half of short-term rentals here are used by Washingtonians.
Costs on everything are going up.
Please tell legislators not to make our trips more expensive too.
Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive. Host Hack.
8:43, time to check traffic with Chris Sullivan.
And before we get to the normal mess on I-5 and 405 out of the Snohomish County area, I just want to remind a lot of drivers coming in, say, from North Bend, working their way on westbound I-90, you're going to come to a pretty quick all-stop just before you get around the corner, last corner into Issaquah. We've got a crash blocking the right lane right after Front Street. You add that to all the merging that's happening right in that general area, and we're backed up to kind of the Highlands off-ramp there, so plan on some delays. It looks like it might be getting a little bit better now, so they might have cleared it, but there's some very heavy fog in the area as well. So just plan on a couple of extra minutes there. Once you get through that, kind of a standard day, getting through 405 and over the lake to I-5. 520, though, really caught up into the slowing because of the Ship Canal Bridge construction. It's bumper to bumper from well before Medina all the way over. So you're going to need about 30 minutes on 520, 30 as well on I-90, but that's a 15-minute delay on 520. The reason, again, driving into the construction zone, we do have about a 10 or 12-minute delay getting north of the downtown core from Mercer up past the Ship Canal Bridge where the two left lanes are blocked. Now to the real impact for the morning commute because of the loss of those express lanes in the southbound direction. Hour and 40-minute trip from Everett to Seattle and an hour and a half from Everett to Bellevue. For I-5, it's a really good drive through Linwood, but then you hit Shoreline and it's a grind all the way into downtown. 405 is right there from Linwood to Bothell, a little bit in Totem Lake. 99, not a great option south of Green Lake. And it looks like we have a Hood Canal Bridge closure going on right now. We're starting to see some backup into that, so I'll hopefully get a little bit more clarification on when that's going to be wrapped up here in 10 minutes. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Well, the story once again this morning is the thick fog. That'll be the case tomorrow, too, but sunshine by afternoon. Only in the upper 40s for today and tomorrow, mid-40s on Thursday. Still dry on Friday, but partly cloudy. Will be partly cloudy for Saturday and Sunday. There's still looking like a chance of rain on Monday moving in. Right now in Seattle, it's foggy and 32.
Well, the Seahawks are headed to the NFC Championship, biggest game in a long time for the Hawks, and we have 2 tickets for that game for you to win. Just open the KIRO News Radio app, hit the Win tab to find out how to enter. If you don't have the app, Text app to 888-973-5476. We'll send you a download link. You can enter today and tomorrow to increase your chances to win. It runs through tomorrow, this contest. Enter now only on the KIRO Newsradio app.
So, how will the Seahawks offense fare without running back Zach Charbonnet? We will ask G. Scott next on Seattle's Morning News.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Right now, save $600 on windows and $1,500 on doors from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy 12 months same-as-cash financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we make protecting your home simple and affordable. With flexible financing and 20-plus years of trusted service, you can count on lasting quality from Guardian. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
Corporate megastores are spending millions lobbying D.C. politicians on one-sided policies that send small businesses tumbling. They want to enact harmful credit card mandates that take resources away from your local credit union and community bank, leaving Main Street businesses with less access to credit, making it harder for your family to pay for everyday goods like gas and groceries. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Well, here he is, G. Scott from the G and Ursula Show and the Reset Podcast. Look at you.
Come on now.
You're looking very spiffy today.
This was my suggestion for G. I said, hey, G, Neiman Marcus is not around. Saks off Fifth is closed. G needs to find a place to shop, and then where did I suggest you go shopping?
Costco.
G? Costco. I went to Sully and Charlie's spot. Now listen, that was the first time I was really in the middle of Costco. So that's where all the clothes was, and I said, okay, I need to, if you're looking on the stream right now. So what happened was I lost the bet to Charlie. And what happened is I have to wear a quarter zip.
Yeah.
That's right. And I got the quarter zip on right now. And I went into Costco, and it wasn't bad. Good price and everything. But here's the thing. While I was dreading getting ready to wear this quarter zip, I was dreading it so much. Man, I put this thing on. I took my shower downstairs. I put it on. All of a sudden, I got ready to walk up the stairs. I could feel it. My blood pressure went down, and then all of a sudden, I got a ding from Credit Karma. Hey, I got a ding from Credit Karma. It said, your credit score has gone up 75 points. So you wear a quarter zip, your blood pressure go down, your credit score goes up. Then I call some of my cousins on FaceTime and asked to borrow $1,000.
That's not what you were wearing.
And they said, sure. In that tone, too.
Well, when you have a bet like that, you're supposed to choose something that looks silly, and you look great in that.
Well, thanks, Manda.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
and the
thank
hat
you.
is totally cool.
I had to bring a little something.
Hey, we love a corduroy hat.
Hey, look, I was going to wear this hat on Saturday for the game.
It's a Seahawks hat.
Yeah, but my barber did such a good job with my hair. I had to show my hair. All right, speaking of that, let's talk Seahawks real quick. You guys heard the news yesterday on the Mike McDonald show on our sister station, Seattle Sports Show, Brock and Salk. They do that every day, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10. But on Mondays after the big game, they have the Mike McDonald show. And on the show, he mentioned and talked about Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet will be done for the rest of the postseason as he has to tend to an ACL and get surgery on that. First, I wanted to just say this. My heart goes out to Charbonnet, and we all know what he has done for this team, what he has done for this fan base. He has been absolutely incredible. And like Mike McDonald said about him, he epitomizes being a Seahawk. So I want to give him his proper due, and I don't want to do the whole next man up. I want to give him his respect. Now, what's going to be the plan for the Seahawks? Well, the third string guy that they had that suited up, he was on the practice squad, he suited up last week, is Velus Jones Jr. So he's pretty good, obviously. And then the person who was not activated last week, who I expect to be activated this week, will be George Halani. George Halani played his football at Boise State. Great kid. As a matter of fact, he was kind of like the big brother for Ashton Genty, who Ashton Genty was a first-round pick for the Raiders. So either way, the Seahawks are in good hands. The only thing this might mean, it might mean K9, Kenneth Walker III, might get more carries. And that's okay.
He was kind of on fire Saturday.
Because right now he is on fire.
Well, and the Rams don't really have much tape probably to know how these other two running backs perform. I would imagine that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a good thing. But one thing the Seahawks have been doing all season, and this really says a lot about them. Yes, I am pro Seahawks, but let me just from
way to stick your neck out there,
really? A 10,000-foot view on this team is no matter when they have injuries, and they had injuries to the defense this season. Witherspoon was out for a sec. Ernest Jones, the fourth, was out for a sec. Julian Love was out for a sec. Every time there's injury, there's always seems to be a plug and play. And that's because this team is not hell-bent on one person. This is what happens when you collectively have a group of guys that really play together and buy into the system.
And this is one of the great things, I think, probably about the way that they used Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet throughout the season, kind of hand in hand together, is now Kenneth Walker, he still has a lot of gas left in the tank. Whereas, I think we saw last week with Christian McCaffrey, he had been carrying the load for the Niners the whole time. And by the end of the season, that guy was gassed.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, for some reason, was doing great against others, but not against the Seahawks. Hey, before we go, I only got a few seconds before Amanda kicks me out. Can you also give me some other benefits to wearing a quarter zip? I need to make sure I take
Looking
advantage
great
of
is
this.
Not good enough?
Well, I mean,
have you worn
Sully and Charlie, there's supposed to be some privileges to wearing this quarter zip.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to be part of our foursome now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I can come golfing.
Golfing.
Do I get a discount golfing?
No, you can. Who gets a discount golfing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Not even my delegation gets discounts golfing.
Okay. Charlie, is there anything else?
Oh, yeah, the VIP section at the Walmart.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
We're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah,
so.
and also you get extra snacks at Costco.
Oh,
if you're
okay.
wearing
Snacks.
their branded stuff, yeah, you go right to the front of the line.
Will I all of a sudden have an appetite for green bean casserole?
Live and learn, G. Live and learn. All right.
Yeah, possibly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You may be excused, my friend. G and Ursula, 9 to noon here on KIRO News Radio.
Sully with traffic.
Okay, we not a great spot for a stall. Southbound I-5 right at Lake City Way, right in the middle of the already backed up drive coming out of Linwood, back up to about an hour and a half from Linwood to Seattle, and an hour and 50 all the way, so major delays. 405 caught up into the drive there as well. Everett to Bellevue running at an hour and about 20 minutes now. We have cleared the crash in Issaquah. The The Hood Canal Bridge has reopened to vehicular traffic. Rest of the map looks normal. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Once the fog lifts, we'll see sunshine again, headed for a high today of 49. Right now, it's still foggy and 32 in Seattle.
And coming up is the G and Ursula Show. New trends in 26 that are making them cringe.
One win away from the Super Bowl.
You stacked plays. It started with a 95-yard. Shaheed to the end zone. Holy catfish.
We play our style of play. Games can look like this often.
The table is set for the NFC Championship game. Sunday at Lumen Field against the Rams. Kickoff at 3:30.
Job's not done.
We're going to do the same thing.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle and the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
A lot of businesses are looking ahead for guidance and the right partners in the new year, and the right bank can make a difference, right, Brad?
That's right, Dave. And WaFd Bank can help with business checking, express loans, lines of credit, business credit cards, and so much more. WaFd Bank is also an SBA preferred lender, so you can grow with confidence.
What about when you need help with something? In this digital age, does WaFd have an actual person available?
Absolutely. Our friendly and knowledgeable local business bankers are ready and waiting to help you with whatever your business might need. From day one, our bankers get to know you and your business to build a strong foundation for future success. This especially helps when it's time to apply for loans and to spot gaps in your business operations, so we can recommend the service that would be most helpful.
And to learn more, visit wafedbank.com or visit your local branch. Discover why they were awarded Best Bank multiple years in a row by numerous financial publications. WaFd Bank, built for business. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Loan subject to credit approval. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
The G and Ursula Show.
There's two types of people. One's that use a washcloth. The other are bare hand bandits.
Hate to break it to you, but
Ursula, you a bare hand bandit?
Weekdays 9 to noon. Watch live on YouTube.
It's the Clearance Savings Spectacular at Olympic Hot Tub. We're slashing prices on hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. Even bigger savings on floor models. Plus, no interest through 2031. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
If you've been injured in a car accident, you have two choices. Handle everything yourself or hire an experienced attorney. Go it alone, and you'll be on the phone with insurance adjusters, chasing medical records, fighting for lost wages, and trying to figure out what your case is really worth. Hire the right attorney, and they take all that off your plate so you can focus on getting better. Harold Carr Law Offices has a dedicated team of 48 people and more than 35 years of experience handling car accident cases right here in our community. Harold Carr Law Offices handles big cases and small ones while still treating their clients like family. Here's the difference they make. They save you time, reduce your stress, and get you significantly more money than you'd ever get on your own. Harold Carr Law Offices fights for you at no out-of-pocket cost to you. If you're in a car accident, call them right away. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio.